that's very cool.
Yo.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
Jumped on the bandwagon early.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
Smile.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
I can't believe it's been 9 months since Survivor. Also Frostpunk, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's gonna be a good one. I can feel it. I got a cup of hot coffee, a chorizo burrito, and I'm ready to stream. So we're gonna do some reaction, some action, some gaming, everything tonight. Really gonna get into it. So for my humble stream setup to wherever you are right now, I offer you a very hearty hello. Hello. Hey everybody. Sorry, my dinner arrived a little late.
Oh yeah, wow, that's for
So I'm gonna have to juice up early stream.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
Thank you for those early subs, guys. Ended up not going to London with us, huh? No, I'm here. That's the crazy thing about London. No, I was never going to go to London with us, huh?
Oh yeah, wow, that's
From when it was very first proposed, I was like, fuck no. Jacob Geller released a new video about horror games. Like, just now? Oh, shit. 10 hours ago. Let's get into it, dude. I'm eating a little food.
Real quick, this video is
Why
going
not
to spoil
wait?
Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, and The Last of Us. It might also
Holy shit, that's a lot of spoilers.
be pretty gross because these games are full of zombie guts and stuff. Finally, Nebula sponsored this video. It's better over there. There's a whole companion video. You know the drill. The Dead Space remake features one of the grosser tech features I can remember being used as a part of marketing. Like the original back in 2008, it's a game where you blast apart
Oh
space
yeah, wow,
zombies
that's
with
very cool.
lasers.
Neff
Like
headers,
the
Neff
original,
this
the
time.
moment-to-moment
I found a
gameplay
gaming
center-
chair you might like. Uh-oh. Take a look. Oh. Now you're talking. Okay. The song choice on that was absolutely ridiculous. Dude.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
Spy Monkey gifted a tier 1 sub to Zion Kayed.
That's like if there was a King of the Hill mech suit. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. God, this burrito's falling apart. Is the movie Buffalo 66 worthy of movie night? Not really, if I'm being completely frank. It's a good movie, but I feel like we'd get a ton of shit for watching it. It's a brutal movie. Like, I don't know. Buffalo 66 is good. It's just brutal.
Well, I love it, dude. I love last night. Will was like, "Yeah, sorry guys, I gotta leave the stream. Ness wants to play League. He wants me to play League."
Yep.
And this motherfucker texted me.
Yeah,
Was like, "I want to play League."
that's right.
Hey, why are we 3B, bro?
Spike down
Leave
A.
me alone.
Sometimes you guys can't handle the truth.
Wait,
Called out? Yeah, because, dude, he made me a villain with his fucking community.
A villain.
They're like, oh, what the fuck? He canceled stream. He's canceled stream because Ness wants to play League. Oh, what the fuck? It's like, no, he asked me. He literally was like, hey, what you doing? I'm like, not just chilling. He's like, oh yeah, you want to play League? I was like, yeah, sure, I could do some.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wow, that's very cool.
I lied.
An anonymous user gifted a
I
tier
lied.
1 sub to Kelly and Rob.
And this burrito isn't very good. So my life is a mess right now. I'll be right back. However, in lying, I did make it to gold. I did make it to gold, ladies and gentlemen. So, pretty good. This dude set up a speaker in NYC and lets Dono speak for him.
100 bits, you can reveal my thought.
Oh, God. Oh, dude, it's ham and cheddar. I actually know this dude, but I feel like this leads to such dangerous setups.
Thoughts right now.
New York and its inhabitants. And it doesn't matter who hears because I can outrun all these fat losers.
No. Guys, there are kids like right in front of me.
My ass is right for the taking, men. Come bend me over and slide up and
Oh,
make
yeah, wow,
bold.
that's very cool.
I am
Hey,
so ready for some PP in my no hole over and over again. I like duh PP. How full are your balls? Would you like them emptied? Then come on down to Ham's hot mouth.
How full are your balls? Would you like them emptied? Then come on down to Ham's hot mouth. Dude, that is an English major, whoever wrote that TTS.
PP. How full are your balls? Would you like them emptied? Then come on down to Ham's hot mouth. It's my mouth right here. Empty them balls. Hi, my name is Ham and Cheddar, and I think New York deserved 9/11. This place.
Oh my God.
No.
If you're from Harlem, f you.
No.
As a matter of fact, all of-
This was the dumbest stream idea I think I've ever had.
Oh. I'm coming right now.
Dude, that's actually really funny. I mean, it's terrible, but it's actually very funny.
I used
Part
to
2.
live right around the corner from here, and I'd come here all the time and see a lot of crazy people.
I like big
Now I'm one of them.
Let's be real. We've all taken several times the size of our cocks. I can my ass better than my own could. I can't even tell you how much I prefer to jerk off while I take a poop. It's honestly the only way I can get off.
I've said that before.
Being a hentai act warm.
Okay. I'm sorry you don't like it. That guy's really, he said he was going to spit on me.
Please do not spit on me. That's my kink. I might keep stepping. Hey, you on the stairs. Shut your skin tone chicken bone. Google Chrome no home flip phone disowned ice cream cone garden gnome extra chromosome metronome dimmadome genome full-blown monochrome student loan Indiana Jones overgrown Flintstone X and Y hormone friend zone Sylvester Stallone ass TF up.
It's not calibrated right.
You are all thinking about your parents having sex. Think about your dad thrusting his penis into your mother's vagina.
This is a cry for help. This is a cry for help. This is a cry for help. This is a cry for help.
To those of you on the stairs, if you start clapping, it'll activate the vibrating plug in Mubasi.
Damn it.
My sister
God damn it. They put the vibration noise in. Oh man, that's great. The problem is you have to trust your community to not be degenerates. Which you know. You can't. The Death of Late Night TV by Eddie Burback. I like Eddie Burback. I like him as a person. I like him as a human. I like his content. And I think this subject is interesting. Do you think this subject is interesting? God damn, my hair looks good these days. All right.
Does anyone actually watch late night TV anymore?
That is a question I asked because I've never watched late night TV. And I was actually shocked how many people in my chat liked late night TV. I was also shocked, maybe this is just me, that late night TV has teams of writers. Now, certain late night TV guys, I got it. Conan O'Brien, for one, I was not surprised when I was told that he had a team of writers because he did sketches. But like a Jimmy Fallon, I just never knew that there was a team of people who would work together to create, like, you know, Ariana Grande sings like Madonna. I didn't know that needed a team of writers, but I was blown away. And so I learned, you know, I was this many years old when I learned that.
I mean, of course we catch late night clips online. Occasionally you'll see a monologue from Jimmy Kimmel or a closer look with Seth Meyers.
I have never seen either of those things. Maybe my algorithm just isn't tuned right, but...
Or a TikTok from Jimmy Fallon.
Also have never seen one of those.
Do most people turn on the TV, change the channel to network television, sit down and watch a late night episode from beginning to end? The answer, of course, for most people is no. Ratings for every single late night show over the last decade have pretty much been tanking. Back in 2019, I made a video called Late Night TV Needs to Change, and it seemed to resonate with people because audiences felt...
All right, well, I can answer this really quickly. I think a big part of why late night television has declined is late night television used to fill the role of bing, bing, bing. Oh, ham and cheddar, you son of a bitch. Hey, I heard that if I have full balls, I can come on down to Ham's hot mouth and empty them. Is that offer still on the table or? It's open. Nice. Dude, that was really funny content. Hope you're doing well, brother. But as far as late night television, before I got distracted by Ham's hot mouth, I think late night television used to fill the role of parasocial viewing, right?
Oh yeah, wow.
Where
cool.
in the old days, if you wanted to connect with an actress or a singer or an actor and see who they were as real human beings, you'd go watch them on the Johnny Carson show, right? And there they would be, and they'd talk about, oh yeah, I got my car impounded, and Johnny would be like, wow, I did not know that. Car impounded. Unbelievable. That's crazy.
Yeah, wow, that's very
He's
cool.
pre-watching chat. What? No, I'm just brilliant. I'm just the fucking Kobe Bryant of React content. I've tried to tell people this, okay? On this platform, the reason that I have survived, despite not being young or good at video games, is because I am actually the best reactor. Like there's not even a close second. But if Eddie agrees with me, he's smart and based.
The format was getting stale. Then, during the quarantine in 2020, the shows were forced to rapidly change their format when they had to make their shows from home.
Hello.
I feel like this actually helped late night television because it was so humanizing for a lot of them. And people were like, oh, they're just like me. Look, that celebrity is locked inside too. That's cute.
Welcome to A Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. It's my birthday.
Oh yeah, wow.
In quarantine.
That's very cool.
Thank you, Grim Forever.
Isn't that nice?
And then, unfortunately, I was made to look like an idiot when Jimmy Fallon and Paris Hilton saved late night TV by pushing a Bored Ape NFT on The Tonight Show.
This is your
mine.
ape. Are we debuting it?
It's really cool. Like the hat.
God, we were dumb. We were so dumb. We are dumb. We're so dumb. It's amazing that we look back at any generation and are like, they're dumb. It's like, this sucks. This will always suck.
The shades.
What? How did you pick? Because you can pick your ape.
Yes, I was going through a lot of them.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like, I
wow,
want
that's very
something that like
cool.
kind of reminds me of me.
Tom the Catman, thank you.
But this one, it does. And then I made another piece by hand. It took me 6 months, and it's all a collage.
This looks like a fucking MySpace page. 6 months? I made this when I was 15 in 15 minutes to get the attention of my crush. Spoiler alert, she didn't notice.
Collage of all of my memories.
But years later, it feels like late night is in a very weird place. I feel like we're in late
Tumblr dog? Oh, you sweet summer child.
night limbo. And it feels like something that was once
Aha! Johnny, the great one.
an institution in American entertainment.
And the Bee Gees! God, that would have been a... Dude, can you imagine being backstage after that episode? Hey, Bee Gees, Johnny Carson here. I did not know that. Really big show. Do you want to maybe do some cocaine with me? That sounds great. That'd be awesome. They just all did blow. You know what I mean? Like that was probably a fucking amazing orgy. Barry Gibb just, oh yeah. Once, twice.
Is now just like a side thing that happens on the internet. So first, I want to start with the current state of late night. And there's no better person to start that with than America's favorite late night host.
Now, I'm sure that lots of people are wondering how I ended up here.
James Corden is so fascinating to me because I've never met James Corden is like one of those things that you can't believe exists because you can't find anybody who consumes it. You know what I mean? Where there's like certain, like Peeps. It's hard to find like dyed-in-the-wool Peeps people. And when you find them, you're like, really? You eat Peeps year-round? And they're like, yes. And you're like, that's insane. So you actually buy Peeps? Yes, I actually buy Peeps. And you eat the whole package? Yes, I eat the whole package. And you prefer that to other candy? Yeah, you're like, oh my God, you're a fucking unicorn. That's like James Corden people. Like when you actually meet a James Corden person in the wild, you're fascinated. You're like, oh, what? So you watch this person? Yes. And you find him entertaining? Yes. And you've heard all the stories about how he's awful, just a terrible person, just the worst. And they don't affect your enjoyment of him lying to you every night. No, not at all.
In this seat, and I include myself in that too.
There's a lot of things to say about James Corden, but regardless of your opinion of him as a person, he's actually a very good example of where the current state of late night is. And that's because in April of 2022, Corden announced that he would be ending his show the day his current contract was over.
I've decided to sign for one more year on the show, and that this will be my last year hosting the Late Late Show. Don't you dare.
That day is April 27th, 2023. So officially, the Late Late Show with James Corden is over. Wait. Some people liked the show, I'm sure, okay? Now, if this were even 10 years ago, it would be a shock to many that a host in such a sought-after slot on network TV was ending his show so early. There would be constant discussion on why Corden was leaving so soon and what comedian was being scouted to replace him and get a shot at their own late night show. But when James announced that he was ending his run, the audience reaction was basically, yeah, no, that sounds about right. This is partially because James Corden made himself extremely disliked in the public eye, which, don't worry, I will get to in a minute. But as someone in the US, I had never heard of James until he was announced to take over the Late Late Show from Craig Ferguson.
When do you take over this show, James? We will start...
Ferguson was kind of a homie.
March 23rd, yes.
Oh, unlucky 23rd of March.
Yeah.
Controversial take. I don't think Brits should get late night shows in our country. I don't agree with it.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
I don't agree with it.
Love you, Willard.
They're taking our fucking gerbs. Okay, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of British actors and American shit. Okay? I'm fucking over it. Until Brits start casting more Americans as British characters, I don't fuck with it. I'm tired of these fake ass American accents. What do you mean? I'm an American too. I literally love being an American. You ever notice that whenever there's fucking British actors, certain words, they just can't help themselves but be fucking British? They just can't fucking help themselves. It just bleeds through. Nancy, I'm going to make a sandwich. Can you pass the aluminium?
I just want to say, James, I'm delighted it's you. I'm delighted you're taking over, and I'm very, very sorry for what's about to happen.
Craig had gathered somewhat of a cult following and had a very passionate fan base that loved his show. And Corden wasn't alone in replacing a beloved host.
Yeah, wow.
James was part of a new
It's
generation of
incest.
late-night hosts. Because
It's from the
2014 to
incest.
2015, there was a major shakeup in the late-night lineup. Jay Leno was retiring for the second time.
Okay, this guy, dude, I know it's like so fucking cliche to hate on Fallon at this point, but I will always be shocked that a guy whose greatest asset was laughing, like breaking during sketches on a show where literally the owner of the show is like anti-breaking. I don't know if you guys know this, but very famously, SNL is like very anti-cracking. Like they don't want you to crack. And a lot of scenes where your scene partner cracks, anybody who's been doing improv for more than 10 minutes knows that's when you'll get your biggest laughs from the audience. 100%. That's when you'll get your biggest laughs. So I do not understand why Fallon got this pass to laugh in every single sketch he ever did. I guess he's kind of musically talented, but I don't know.
Time passing the Tonight Show over to Jimmy Fallon. Now you might ask yourself, how do you retire twice? And it's a really simple procedure. First, you leave your job after decades of having it. You gracefully hand the position over to Conan O'Brien. And then you decide that you miss the attention. So you come back, destroy Conan's career for a year or two, and then you decide you're tired and you retire once again.
Has Jay reached out to you? No. No calls.
No,
Conan is still so fucking pissed.
I do not think I'll be hearing from him.
As Jimmy moved
that's
from
very
Late Night with
cool.
Jimmy Fallon
Yeah.
up to The Tonight Show, Seth Meyers moved to the late
yeah,
night
wow,
slot from
that's
his
very
head writing
cool.
position at SNL. David Letterman was also retiring, handing his show over to Stephen Colbert. So as all of the older white dudes were retiring, a new, fresh group of hosts were taking over. And this group was much more diverse because yes, they were all white. And yes, they were all dudes. But one...
What are you starting your Twitch late night career? Bro, I'm the king of late night. If they gave me a late night show, I would rock that
that's
shit.
very cool.
Conan the Goat.
I'd be a tremendous late night host. I've always wanted to do an interview show. It would take effort.
Dish. Now, James Corden is one of the most interesting TV hosts of all time because it feels like he's been on a multi-year campaign to make himself unlikable. I'm sure you're already aware of his controversy in 2022, but if you're not, James was banned from a top restaurant in New York called Balthazar for being abusive to the staff. The owner of Balthazar said James Corden is a hugely gifted comedian, but a tiny cretin of a man, and the most abusive customer to my Balthazar servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. Now, James argued, I believe...
So, I've followed the James Corden, like, is a monster plotline because I found it fascinating. And apparently, James Corden's one of those guys who, once he became famous, like, just became a monster instantly. Like, got a level of fame and just decided, like, yes, I'm still a pudgy, you know, little ding dong, but now I'm a rich and famous pudgy little ding dong, and like there are a bunch of instances apparently of him being awful to people.
that his wife had an allergy and he was just sticking up for her.
Oh,
But
yeah, wow,
people
that's
who are
very
servers
cool.
in restaurants
Rough day for
are
me.
always
Thanks for
accommodating
being
for
a healthy
allergies,
distraction.
and they're not always banning people and making a public statement about it. So I tend to lean toward the people who banned him rather than his defense. I don't bring this up though to paint James Corden as a monster. I just want to.
He's like the anti-Keanu Reeves. Yeah,
you're on people's television screens every single
Oh, yeah,
night.
wow, that's very
Likability
cool.
is really
I judge
important,
people
and
by
part of
how
that
they treat
likability for
waitstaff.
me.
Oh, dude,
Fuck
that is actually one of the most based statements I've ever heard. If you're out to dinner with someone and they're a fucking monster to the waitstaff, I almost like can't be around that person anymore. And like it's almost like people that are horrible like can't help but be terrible to waitstaff. It's very fascinating. Like they're just inherently rude. Like they think that they have this air of superiority to someone that they're paying, and like they can't help but abuse that air of superiority. And it's like it's very revealing.
How you treat your crew. And back in 2016, James was playing a game on his show called Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts. Now, personally,
hey, I've seen that. Hassan did that.
I think this game is wildly entertaining for television. The basic premise is that James' writers and staff draft questions for him and his guests that are too juicy for them to answer on TV. And they're usually very personal to the guest and James. After being asked the question, they have to make a choice. Do they want to answer this difficult question on TV for everyone to see, or eat a gross food? And during
bird saliva. Dang, that bird's head game must be crazy if it can generate that much saliva. You were all thinking it.
Shooting of the game with Jimmy Kimmel, he was asked this.
Name 2 of the cameramen in this room.
Wow.
That is a great question.
Wow. Bro, that's actually so fucked up.
Different crew tonight, actually.
That is actually so fucking awful. That's dude. That's crazy. You can tell that was a really targeted question. Bro, if you don't work with your staff at all on a set that, like, listen, maybe if you're filming something and, like, you're a week in or you're a month in or, hell, you're maybe even a year in. But the fact that he had been doing the same show for years, probably with the same crew, and couldn't name 2 of them is devastating.
At this point, Corden's show had been running for over 2 years.
Oh, see ya.
As the host of a show, to not even know the names of your crew may have been played off as a joke.
There you go. Yo, if no one's got my back, Eddie Burbach's got my back as I react to his content before he does.
In the moment, but is wildly unacceptable behavior. I know people have differing opinions on Jimmy Kimmel, but I'm actually glad this happened in front of him.
Actual pre-watch. Guys, I'm trying to tell you, you're the same people who watch the NBA and when like LeBron wins, they're like rigged. Maybe I'm just the GOAT at reaction content, okay? Maybe I just have been doing this hours a day for years at a time, and my brain is just super fragilistic expialidocious.
As a seasoned late-night host, Jimmy is pretty famous for the family culture around his crew. I mean, some of his crew are quite literally his family, but I would bet that Jimmy would easily know his cameramen's names. And the same goes for Colbert, Conan, Myers, Trevor Noah, and Fallon. It's even more telling that his own staff are the ones who asked this question.
Yep.
It's a bigger deal than being...
I mean, that's exactly what I said. I said that question was probably a plant to expose him.
To restaurant staff? No. But when you're watching a show constantly, you pick up on these little moments and they might make you not want to watch. Stuff like James finding out that Alice Cooper has a phobia of balloons being rubbed together because he hates the sound. And then James does this.
But hang on, I don't know if people know what you're talking about. No, I'm saying, no, I'm not making fun. I'm saying, is it that sort of noise?
It's that
Is that noise?
Yeah.
Okay. That
wow,
sucks.
so cool.
Also, I don't know if you know, but Alice Cooper is like, this is all like fucking dumb shit. But Alice Cooper is considered like one of the nicest guys in entertainment. Like, he has all these moments where people say that Alice Cooper is like just a dope dude, even though he looks kind of like a goth monster.
So if someone says, that's the one that...
And this last one is a super specific nitpick that is not a real problem, but as someone who lives in LA, I have to talk about. Corden's crosswalk musicals are a really funny idea and usually start with a funny...
This motherfucker blocking off traffic in LA. For every Angelino, let me just say, fuck you, dude. We are, as Angelinos, we are constantly choked and facing unbelievable traffic. And this dude just leans into it. Honestly, the only equivalent I could think of would be going to like sub-Saharan Africa and doing like a water show. It's just so awful. It's just rubbing it in the face of the local population and being like, "Oh, you know that thing that you desperately want? Nah, we're not. We're gonna fucking make it awful."
Sketch where James is parodying people who are too much in the theater industry. But every time he does one of these, I just think about the fact that this is a very busy street in Los Angeles.
Dude, yo, I bet this dude listed this car on eBay for $1 million. The guy from One Direction rubbed his bussy on my Kia.
Busy street in Los Angeles. How do I know? Because I walked there to show.
Thank you.
The premise of the sketch is very
Crazy Face 23. Thank you.
A musical number, but the second the crosswalk goes red, they have to scream and run off to allow traffic to start. But every time they do one of these, we see clips of unhappy drivers who don't give a shit about James Corden and just want to go home.
Let's get loud. Oh, wow.
Ain't nobody gotta tell you what you gotta do. They programmed this light to last longer and clock traffic just so James can do a bit.
Dude, I told you, Angelinos are just like, fuck you, dude. It's taking me 2 hours to get 6 miles, man. Why are you doing this?
Get off the car, dude. What are you doing? Oh, he broke that car.
But as I stood there trying to get footage to show you how busy the crosswalk can get even in the early afternoon, I started to become overwhelmed by the sheer star power of it all. The crosswalk was labeled Corden Crosswalk, and I could see his face plastered on the CBS building. International superstars had stood right here. People like Harry Styles,
Hell yeah.
BTS, or Josh Gad. And that's when it hit me. I could cross the walk myself. This was it. This was my moment. So I clicked the crosswalk button, waited for the countdown, and finally, it was exhilarating.
Way to go, Eddie.
Okay, so I just crossed the Corden crosswalk.
Eddie's got such a good mustache.
I feel great. I found myself crossing again and again.
Number 3 was good, but how about number 4?
I just couldn't get enough.
All right, that is 7 times across the Corden crosswalk, and I can't get enough.
I could feel the energy of fame coursing through my veins. If you're famous, who cares if you stop traffic for people going home
that's
from
very
work?
cool.
Who cares if you're abusive to restaurant staff?
Thank you for that 2-month streak. Let's go, Len.
People know your name and face, and that makes you better.
Welcome.
That's true.
To
Oh, here we go.
Thank you for watching.
The reason I want to talk about Fallon after James Corden is because
Okay, this is the only bit I've ever seen of Fallon. This is the only bit I've ever seen of his.
Even though Corden follows Colbert on CBS, he's always kind of seemed like Diet Jimmy Fallon. In 2014, when Jimmy took over, he exploded The Tonight Show's ratings and pretty instantly became the king of late night. This was mainly due to the Tonight Show's ability to showcase Jimmy's friendly personality as he played games and did stunts with celebrities.
And, right now we're going to try a new game called Basketball.
At this time, whether you like him or not, Jimmy
Thank you, Rayquaza.
Show the late night show to watch on TV and on YouTube. But I think long term, this has ended up hurting Jimmy more than it helped. But before we keep going, a quick word.
How the fuck has this hurt Fallon? I need to find out, Eddie.
I think the hat is too big. I think I need to return it. People expect a lot from a late night host.
Will Neff
They
is
have
my
to be
king of
friendly.
late night.
Thank you, Dream Baboon.
They also have to be quick, great at stand-up every single night, one of the best interviewers on TV, and more. And aside from the host, for a very long time, the big draw to late night was its
Johnny was so good.
Access to celebrity culture.
Yes! Ha ha! He also had the best hype man. McMahon was incredible. Yes! Ha ha! Yeah, really big show.
If there was a...
That's who I summon whenever I do Name Your Price, by the way. In case people didn't know that, I'm always doing a version of Ed McMahon, who was Carson's like right-hand man. You are correct, sir.
Celebrity you liked that you wanted to see interviewed, you could tune into The Tonight Show to see what they were like. Nowadays, you have...
Okay, this is what I was saying. It's like shoulder content back in the day to get to know celebrities, but now, bro, you're actually old. Yo, dumb fuck. Carson wasn't performing while I was alive. I went back and watched his clips because he's a fucking legend. The same way you go back and watch Casablanca. Huh?
Near unlimited access to content of people that you want to follow. You can see daily social media posts from celebrities, a million press junkets when they promote their movies or TV shows. There are podcast appearances, YouTube interviews, live streams, and more. I honestly think
Thank you, Native.
internet culture is also a huge reason people don't tune in live to these shows. And during the 2016 election, a lot of audiences started to want to see their host increase the amount that they lampooned the day's news. So when The Tonight Show put all their eggs into...
Thank you, guys. Sev is all right. I appreciate you.
...to the fun celebrity show with Jimmy Fallon basket, it didn't transition well to this new era of late night, with Jimmy actively avoiding politics and admitting later that he regretted it. I also think other than the 2016 election, there was a measurable shift in the public's desire for celebrity content.
No, I disagree with this. Because to be honest, when you're a network show, you can't do politics well because your hands are tied. Like you can't, you can be libbed up, but like you can't actually say real shit. You can be like these cartoonish versions of libs. You can be like Hillary Clinton lib. But you're still working for a fucking major corporation. So you can't do like it's so performative and fucking fake. It's lame.
Content one moment on a specific day that caused most people to lose interest in idolizing celebrities and finally view them as regular people. Imagine all the people that were put off by one video.
Yes! Dude, what a fucking moment this was. What a fucking moment this was. Oh, man, I will not, dude, I remember talking to Caroline about this video because we were both so incensed by it. You're right at the beginning of like lockdown protocol COVID, right? So we're like 2 weeks in, maybe a week in, but like people are terrified, right? You got to wait 2 hours in a line in LA to go get groceries even. Can't get any fucking toilet paper because fucking Karens are stockpiling for the end times. They're probably still using the toilet paper they bought. It was just a fucking terrible time. Everybody's locked inside. We're all watching Tiger King, and at this point, we finished it, so we got nothing left, right? Tiger King has its moment where we're all like, oh, fuck. Carol Baskin, that's hilarious. We'll get out of our homes soon. Surely we will. Wrong. Wrong.
Cool.
When all these celebrities drop this fucking music video where frankly, half of them don't even sing well or put in the effort to like make a performance. And they're singing a song by one of the most disillusioned celebrities ever, in John Lennon. And a song that is one of the most fucking ridiculously overplayed, overcovered tracks in history. And they do a bad job and they release it and they're like, this is our gift. And everybody's like, how about money? How about fucking money? People are saying fuck you because of the John Lennon thing. Guys, he was a daily acid user who fucking literally took full frontal nude photos of he and his wife and released them. Like, he was very strange. If anybody knew nothing about the plight of the common man, it was John Lennon. I appreciate him as an artist, but I'm telling you, it's not like he was plugged in with real life. Anyway.
There's no heaven. I like to pretend that Pedro wasn't in that video. He was shooting Wonder Woman. He did it for his co-star. He was trying to be nice. We forgive you, Pedro. I will say, though, that in the past, I think we were all a little too hard on Jimmy Fallon. When someone takes a seat on such a prestigious throne, we expect absolute perfection from them. And I think filling the shoes of Johnny Carson or being better than Conan O'Brien is way too much to ask from the guy. And it's not like the Tonight Show is unwatchable. A lot of people really love him and the show.
You're forgiven,
always
Pedro?
praise Jimmy for choosing the Roots as his band.
Pedro Pascal?
Jimmy Kimmel! I feel...
Did he say he would never forgive him for choosing the Roots as his band?
I think filling the shoes of Johnny Carson or being better than Conan O'Brien is way too much to ask from the guy. And it's not like the Tonight Show is unwatchable. A lot of people really love him and the show. I will also always praise Jimmy for choosing the Roots as his band.
I thought he said I would never forgive. I don't know why. Yeah, the Roots fucking rule. The Seed is one of my favorite tracks of all time. I agree with that. I just misheard that. I literally just thought I heard him say, I'll never forgive him for choosing the Roots as his band. And I was like, wait a minute, Burback, we have beef.
Now, Jimmy Kimmel! I feel so unbelievably neutral on Jimmy Kimmel. Maybe once or twice a year I'll catch a monologue he did or a viral segment from his show, but I've never really felt strongly about him. I will say I think he and Corden had the most boring quarantine shows. Jimmy Kimmel Live is probably the...
I'm gonna be real. Jimmy Kimmel has the potential to be maybe the funniest late night host. But I feel like Kimmel has always been trying to avoid his roots in The Man Show. I do. I think that his work on The Man Show haunts him. And so he is so worried to do anything that is even like quasi-controversial that it comes out like a comedy paste.
Oh, yeah.
It's like just so down the pipe, not dangerous, because like I honestly think he is haunted by, he's had a lot of sexist ass skits on the Kimmel Show. I mean, I don't watch Kimmel Live, but yeah, the Man Show was pretty fucking sexist because it existed as a mirror to a very sexist time. I think when he does stuff like that, like I've seen some of his, like this, like this is such a hearkening back to Man Show sketches. I actually thought this was really funny. Tape to tape today? No, I beat it. By the way, why does Kimmel in an outline look exactly like me? The first time I saw this, I was like, what the fuck? That's me.
My name is Jim Kimmel, and I teach.
What is the Kimmel School of Perfect Acting? Well,
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
quite
People
simply,
talk
it's
wow,
the
hey now, Neff.
greatest acting school there ever was. Or ever will be.
Every moment in which you aren't acting is a moment that you are dying.
You don't take Jim's class to feel comfortable. You take Jim's class to be pushed.
Genius doesn't even begin to describe Jim.
Whoops!
He's a master.
I'm not simply a teacher, I'm a sculptor. With these hands, this and this, I molded some of the finest actors of this generation. Eddie, repeat after me.
He's got the toe shoes on.
Hello, I'm a fancy British man.
Hello, I'm a fancy British man.
Okay, are you British or are you from the Philippines? Talk like British people. Hello.
Hello, I'm...
Why is this so difficult for you? You're from there. He's from there.
Now, his methods, they may seem quite controversial to some folks, but let me tell you, when someone lights your script on fire and duct tapes it to your hands, you're going to find a way to say your lines.
The critic. The critic is your enemy. And so we must meet the enemy head on.
Facing Jim as a critic tested my limits as a performer and as a human being.
You act, I'll critic.
Mama, it's time I told you the truth about me and Ricky.
I saw Frozen last night.
I know Daddy won't approve, but
So short. Such a short little person.
you can't stay here with Daddy because his temper is something.
More like a hobbit than anything.
He's no good for any of us.
Speak up, Muppet baby.
Jim makes you face your worst fear, which is usually him.
Well, Jim is, well, he's...
God, I fucking love Susan Sarandon. One of my biggest celebrity crushes. And if you don't agree, fuck you.
He's like a father to me. I mean, so much so that one time he had me call my actual father and tell him to off.
I'm a stud.
I'm gonna
I'm
over here. Should I
ballsy.
stand here?
I don't
Yes.
take no shit from anyone.
He will not trying to interrupt or anything, just wondering if we're watching the head transplant vid tonight.
I think we will later on. But I'm just reacting. She's old? Yeah, she is. Sometimes you just need a little mommy in your life.
Here?
She is in here.
Excuse me?
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. You know, little boys are afraid of gilfs. I am not. Because I'm a man.
Excuse me?
What are you doing?
What are you...
Bridge is just laughing at her.
He's so in touch, and he's just so generous.
This is an exercise that I call the distrust fall.
This is incredible.
Your job is to fall. Fall.
Fall.
I will not catch you.
Okay.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
You shouldn't,
Okay.
because I am not going to catch you.
Correct.
When you fall, it will be onto the ground.
Okay.
Eddie, I'd like you to scream cry the lines you have. Where is my wife? Less screaming, more crying.
Dude, the water bottle in the neck of his jacket is so good.
Where is my wife? Okay, there was no screaming at all there, as in it's called a scream cry. Did you hear how terrible that was? That was terrible. Sit down. Fill the cup with tears. Tilda Swinton would have filled 3-4 of those cups by now. You realize that?
Tilda Swinton.
Who is my favorite student? That is a very difficult question to answer because I hate them all so very much.
Jim told me he didn't think I could act my way out of a paper bag.
Thank you for those bits.
So he made me prove it.
Once more! Unto the
Oh,
breach,
yeah,
dear
wow,
friends,
that's very
once
cool.
more!
Thank you. Check raise 2 times. Or times 2, sorry.
In peace! There's nothing so...
One of the great actors of all time is in a giant paper bag.
He's a man of modest stillness and humility, but when the blast of war blows in our ears, we imitate the action of the tiger!
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
I stand corrected.
Tyus, thank you. You want to watch part 2? Do you guys want to watch part 2? It's another 7 minutes. All right, we'll watch part 2 before we go back to Eddie's video.
Hi, I'm Sean Penn, and I'll be reading for RoboCop.
Thank you sincerely for the wedding speech review. It was on Saturday, got some big laughs, and the wedding couple loved it. And then everybody clapped. You see, the real acting studio is Williams' acting studio, and I'm very demanding on my pupils. You see, when Stryker came in here with his original wedding speech, I knew it was a steaming pile of shit. And I told him, this is not funny. Redo it. Do it over. You should be ashamed for this. And then he improved, and ultimately, he was a hit at the wedding because of my careful tutelage. Huzzah! Congratulations, man. That's really awesome. That makes me happy that you were able to give. You know, that's actually really nerve-wracking to give a best man speech because, you know, all of a sudden you're expected to like give an insight and be profound and be funny at a time that's really stressful, and you feel like a big part of the wedding is now hinged on you turning into a performer all of a sudden. So I'm glad you nailed it. That's awesome. That makes me really happy.
His methods are, you know, a bit severe. He does this thing called smacting. The water's rising, Martha. Can you feel it? And you and I are drowning.
I don't believe you, Sean. Do it again.
The water's rising, Martha. And you and I.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
The water's rising, Martha. Can you feel it?
Thank you, Foul Cap.
And you and I are drowning. Slowly.
Good.
The pool noodle is the only way I can learn.
With an actor like Sean, sometimes one must turn to unorthodox methods. I'm Sean.
Oh yeah,
Penn.
wow, that's very cool.
Say it like
Supporting
you mean
my
it.
humble streamer.
Thank you.
Make love to the camera. Pick the camera up, take it to your room, and make love to it.
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
Dude, Sean Penn's facial expressions right there are so on point, dude.
You're finished. Well, Jim's been my private coach for years now. He comes to my house even when I don't have a class scheduled. He showers here, he eats my food, sleeps on my couch.
We're out of pita crackers.
Sorry.
When I'm looking at actors, I ask them one question.
Oh, God.
Have you studied under Kimmel? If the answer is yes, we can talk.
Unfortunately, that was not the only question he asked a lot of his actors.
The answer is no. I tell Cuba Gooding Jr. to go himself.
Acting requires movement. Movement requires expression. Expression requires presence. And those who master presence may embody any role, from that of leading man to...
Can I get up now?
Did I tell you to act like a chair? The chair is tall. Breathing.
I mean, I've been in the class for 2 years, and, you know, I paid several thousands of dollars, and, you know, he just has me play chairs and lamps. And says I need to graduate before I play people. I'm like, you know, sir, I've been in movies, you know, like huge block...
Lamps don't talk.
Kimmel.
I was actually there during Damon's lampshade work.
This is one of the coolest men on the planet. I would kill to have a beer with the fucking dude.
Referred to as the lampshade class, really. And there was Matt, so beautifully still and lamp-like, you know, so realistic, really. I was never very good. I had problems, and I'm still working on it. We've got a couple of classes. What is it, next Thursday?
Yeah.
Gotta work on it.
Is that Whistler from Blade? Ironically, no. They look very similar, but no.
Did you see the Ryan
Stand up
Kavanaugh
and put your
cameo
mouths
in
on
this
each other.
sketch?
No.
Go ahead.
This is awesome.
No kissing, just mouth putting.
So you don't.
No questions.
I apologize.
No kissing, mouths. Now breathe your lines to one another. Don't speak, breathe. Are you breathing? Are you breathing? You're not breathing. You're not in love.
We are.
You must be in love.
We are in love.
You're not in love.
They're, by the way, in case you don't know, they're married IRL.
They're married.
You're not married. You're not married. John?
So we're not married.
You know, there was and sacrifice is art.
I may be the dude, but Jim is the dude behind the dude. Not in a gay way. Some dude, you know, behind another dude.
I mean, classes are expensive, but Jim is so generous. If you can't pay, he works with you. Well, he makes you work for him. I do his laundry. I buy his groceries. I walk his piglets. Don't know why he has so many. But one never judges the master.
Jim convinced me to take the role in Milk, even though I'm lactose intolerant and had to drink a gallon of milk a day. It wasn't until I read the script that I found out there was no dairy involved. And I spent a week in bed. But end of story. This guy right here.
I am embarrassed to say, last year I forgot to thank Jim in my Oscar speech. Later that night, after the Vanity Fair party, he followed me home and bashed in all the windows of my car. I guess I deserved it.
I believe that men were put upon this stage we audaciously call Earth to fill gaps between breaths with insolence, to enter, to exit, to speak our truth, to play our parts. The baby's role to mother. The boy's role to run, to play. The lover is hot pipe pulsing. The warrior will battle do. This is what I believe. This is what I will leave behind?
I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
One of my favorite
Jimmy.
fixes is the Matt Damon not being able to appear as a guest
Jimmy?
due to running out of time
Yes.
on Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy, I want to play a person.
Anyway, I think that that was a very long-winded way of saying that I think Kimmel can write really good sketches when he's up to it.
Cookie cutter classic late night show format of all of them. One thing I did notice though is that Kimmel seems to interlace a lot of his monologue with viral video clips and clips from the news before he makes jokes about them. It feels a bit more like a modern take on a monologue because he's reacting to them a little bit more, and they do really well on YouTube for that reason, I think. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really feel strongly about Jimmy Kimmel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in here, out there, all around the world to The Late Show.
Dude, Colbert needs to go back to the Colbert Report. Am I the only one who thinks that? Colbert needs to just go back to doing the Colbert Report. Like, leave late night, man. Please. Please.
I am your host, Stephen Colbert.
So when we're looking at the current state of late night and how the format works after quarantine, a lot of hosts have not changed much since they came, especially the big three, Fallon, Colbert, and Kimmel. Fallon, of course, wasn't equipped for the political change in late night, but if anyone on the planet was, it was Stephen Colbert fresh off the Colbert Report.
There
in
you
my
go.
other videos, I've expressed that when I was a teenager, the Colbert Report was one of the best pieces of satire and performance art that I had ever seen.
It really was. It really, really was.
Seen in my life. I and many others were slightly disappointed to see that once The Late Show had premiered and run for about a year, the show just wasn't quite as funny or as smart as the Colbert Report.
Eddie, dude, I'm telling you, if no one has me, Eddie Burback has me.
But honestly, years later, I'm not sure if that would have even been possible for him at all. Steven was doing a satirical character after nearly a decade of playing him. He was then hired to be himself and replace David Letterman in the late night format. And I think Steven's comedy, when it's not character-based, is just really not for me most of the time.
Wow.
Bang!
I missed it. What's Will's take on Corden?
Can you imagine if we had my man Colbert with like the current political climate for the last few years? Oh my God, it would have been so fucking good. So good. And instead we get this libbed up shit. What was my take on Corden? I mean, he's just kind of a jerk. What I said is that finding people who enjoy Corden is like finding people who enjoy Peeps. It's very rare and it's surprising. When someone's like, yeah, I love Peeps. I buy them all the time. I buy them even when it's not Easter. It's like, what?
I think I speak for most young late night viewers when I say that I actually really like Stephen Colbert, but I don't watch his show much anymore. I actually preferred seeing even more of Stephen's personality when he was unscripted with his wife Evie during quarantine. But since then, the show has kind of gone back to exactly what it was before COVID started. I do want to...
Ellen fans? No, Ellen fans are easy to find.
Colbert as Reducto in Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law is still his best stuff.
Yeah. Habeas corpus. Harvey! Ellen fans are easy to find. You just have to be in the Midwest and talk to women over 50. Like, you're just in the wrong place. You're just asking the wrong demographic. You're never going to go to, like... You're never going to go to, like, a college campus and be like, yo, are you a fan of Ellen? No. Wrong. Now, if you go to a Sam's Club, you will find Ellen fans in that's like their Taj to Mecca, is the Sam's Club. Look in the extra large trail mix section, and you'll be like, hey, are you an Ellen fan? And they'll be like, absolutely.
I want to retract something, though, that I said in 2019 about Colbert being a mediocre interviewer. While I do think that some hosts like Myers or Conan are better at elevating comedians in interviews, and Colbert maybe isn't the best at it, I have seen some really honest and...
That's a cool suit. That brown suede kind of goes crazy.
Passionate moments from Stephen with his guests.
You yourself have suffered great grief just recently with the loss of your mother, and I'm sorry for your family's loss.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering how doing this show or any show, how art itself helps you deal with grief.
Yeah.
Colbert also added something to their YouTube lineup where he takes questions from the audience in between tapings, which is something originally that Trevor Noah started at The Daily Show. But I love these segments. I think what's really special about Stephen Colbert is he seems like an extremely intelligent, compassionate person.
You went on to say what punishments of God are not gifts. Do you really believe that?
Damn, he's got Anderson Cooper crying.
Yes.
So what do you get from loss? You get awareness of other people's loss.
Well, that's true. Empathy.
Which allows you to connect with that other person, which allows you to love more deeply and
That's really interesting because that's like my exact same take. Okay, Colbert.
to understand what it's like to be a human being.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Seth Meyers. This is Late Night. We hope you're doing well. And now, if you don't mind, we're going to get to the news.
I've mentioned in the past that as the network late night shows have progressed, and especially since Conan is off the air now, Late Night with Seth Meyers is easily my favorite. Seth is funny, he's really good with guests, and seems to have a great relationship with his crew and writers.
I have never watched Seth, but I have heard that he is like the low tier god. Like he actually is probably the best in late night, but no one watches.
Ate my weed gummies. Wally? Tom?
Oh, yeah, wow, that's very cool.
There were a lot of gummies in this jar. Who ate them? Bianca? Sarah? Brian?
During quarantine, I praised Seth for being the first to quickly adapt his show to shooting from home. His A Closer Look segments were the only regular late night that I could watch, other than the occasional Trevor Noah segment from The Daily Show. As a fan of late night, though, because their shows were...
Damn, I'm surprised people were like... Eddie was watching content, like recent content during COVID, man. I literally was just in my bag watching fucking old anime and shit.
Home and felt like YouTube...
I didn't watch any of this fucking shit.
Videos. I started exclusively watching late night on YouTube and abandoned watching it on TV altogether. This is where, in my opinion, we started to see the beginning of the end for late night as an institution in American culture. Because from 2014 to 2020, late night was forced to rapidly change with the times as video on the internet became the primary source for entertainment. Every show started introducing segments that were meant to go viral on YouTube. And for a time, that was a great way to entice young people to get off YouTube.
Is Howard Stern still popping? I have not listened to Stern in so long, but yeah, absolutely. Stern has like disciples, man. Stern has people that will listen to Stern till the end of time.
I'm getting old. Dada about to walk by myself soon, Neff.
I'm getting old. About to walk by myself soon. Well, go have a nice walk. I walk with Farley every night. Stern is one of those guys who I could probably tell you what Stern is going to say on his next episode. He's going to have a great interview. He's going to talk about how he hates fucking doing his job. He's going to be like, I hate this. Why am I still doing this? This is awful. Robin Quivers will laugh. I mean, it's very consistent. Did you see Stern saying the NBA is racist because they don't dap him up and everyone is like, dude, you're 70, they're 20? That's really funny. That's like a Stern take. Stern is very much like Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know what I mean? Like he's always kind of been that neurotic guy, but if Curb Your Enthusiasm was like super horny, then you'd get Howard Stern. He's like a super horned up Larry David. Like giga horny Larry David. I don't know. If you didn't grow up listening to Stern, like you're not going to get Stern. It's hard to walk into Stern, right? There's like a bunch of characters and plot lines and kind of like legacy there that really enriches his viewing experience. But I was a big Stern guy, and my family are huge Stern guys. And like every once in a while, you know, I'll be talking to my family member and they'll drop like oh, we got to get the venom out, Raven. We got to get that poison out. Get on the Sybian. We got to get that poison out. And I like just find myself dying laughing. You know, Also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I grew up listening to Stern in like a big way. I listened to him on my little red radio when I was like 13 years old. And I don't think Stern is like a beacon of how to behave as a human being or as a celebrity, but there are like moments of like real genius in what he did. And I constantly pay homage to him because he once gave this speech about like, he found himself in comedy because his mother was someone who had like melancholy, and he found himself like doing bits for her. And that really resonated with me because that's how I got into comedy. Is I found myself like, you know, doing my best to make my family feel better. And that is why I begin every stream with, "Hey now." That's a Howard Stern reference. I don't even know if you guys know that.
TV. But ever since quarantine, I've stopped watching live TV altogether. As a 26-year-old, I just don't catch cable or network TV live, and I barely watch cable or network TV unless it's on streaming the next day. With the one exception of watching SNL live, which I've been doing less and less lately just because it's not normal for me to watch TV as a young person. I don't have a cable package, and you cannot force me to get a cable package. I will never do it, Comcast. You'll never get me again.
Ballsy.
Real quick,
I don't take no shit from anyone.
Yes.
Every time you brought up the Sibian on G4, it would kill me.
Dude, that is deep lore. That is so deep. So, okay, I'm gonna spill some shit. When I was at G4, I was overworked. Right? I was biblically overworked. And there was one show that I hated doing called, what was it fucking even? I forget what it was called. It was like a podcast.
Cool.
Yeah. Vibe Check. Yes, it was called Vibe Check. And there were some days that like I would have to come in. Okay, so let me explain why I hated Vibe Check. I was already working an unfathomable amount at G4, right? Like I was coming in like 5 days a week. Some days I would work a 15-hour day. It was brutal. But Vibe Check days, the show wasn't till like, I don't know, like 2 in the afternoon. I forget. But our COVID compliance officers left at 10. So any day that I did Vibe Check, I would have to come in and do COVID compliance at 10 a.m. and then sit around till 4 p.m. So we're talking about me just sitting around this fucking studio like all day. And this is when I would still stream every night. So like it was just a massive like time inconvenience for me. So when I was renegotiating my contract, I was like, I don't want to do Vibe Check. I don't like Vibe Check. I don't think it's like a necessity for me. I will do it, but I'll do it remote. And ultimately, like, it was one of those things that at the last second, they kind of like snuck it back into my contract where they were like, you got to do Vibe Check. So I got roped into doing Vibe Check, and the other person who didn't really like Vibe Check was Kevin Pereira. And we both just didn't like it. We just thought it was dumb. So he and I would like throw. But if you watch those broadcasts, Kevin Pereira and I were fucking unhinged. We were absolutely fucking unhinged to the point where some of the episodes we did together were the best shit we did because we were so off the Richter. And at one point, like Kevin and I don't know why we developed these characters, but we started making Vibe Check a fake morning show where we would pretend to be shock jocks. And we were called like Stiff Willie and the K or something like that, where we had like these like alter egos. And in every one of these, I would talk about like getting Gina and Fiona and Kasim on the Sibian. I would be like, You're listening to Stiff Willie and the K in the morning. Welcome back. Let's get these lovely ladies up on the Sibian.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's so cool.
And it was so stupid. I would just be like, Gina, darling, now, listen, you're all over the internet, but have you ever ridden the Sibian before? And it was so fucking stupid. It was, God, if any of those clips exist.
That's for cool.
They were
watching Fear and just want you to know I have your back on loving butts.
Oh, thank you, dude. Bot love. Dude, honestly, it's so funny because Dirty Kev, that sounds familiar. It might have been Dirty Kev and Stiff Willie. But it's just one of those things that's like interesting because at first it was a piece of content that I really like didn't love. But by the end, I found myself like looking forward to Vibe Check because we would just go fucking nuts. We would just pop the fuck like at first it was like it was all into like these scripts they would give us, and our writers were great. Our writers were excellent. But like when we were just like unhinged, yeah, Sip or No Sip was a game that Kevin made that we played for like 40 minutes where all you would do is hold a water bottle to your lips and see if you could convince the other hosts that you had drunk from the water bottle. God, that's good shit. We were unhinged, bro. Unhinged.
I totally forgot to mention this while I was making the entire video. The Yikes clothing that I'm wearing throughout the whole thing is new.
Anyway, by the way, by the end of that show, I really enjoyed that show. I enjoyed Vibe Check by the end.
And I didn't think to mention it once. It's at yikeshop.com or the link is in the description to click. I'm
just looked up what a Sibian is. Damn. Oh no! Oh no! I hope you're not on a work computer. Oh Jesus! Oh God! You got to get that venom out. Yeah, you got to get that venom out, Raven. By the way, if you don't know what reference that is, the guy who invented the Sibian is this creepy old guy. And there's a porn star named Raven in the studio while he's in there. And like they have him use the Sibian on this porn star. And he just keeps saying that, he just keeps telling her she needs to get the poison out. She needs to get the venom out. And it's incredible. Oh, God. Stern, man. What a time.
Before, back to the video. And this is where I think I disagree with the energy of my video in 2019 the most. Because at the end of the day, no matter who changed the
column level shit, oh, boys and girls, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've never seen old Stern, you have no idea what horny content is.
All for science.
That shit was in fucking sane. That shit was insane, bro. Stern would be like halfway through a conversation with a woman and it'd be like deep. It'd be like, so yeah, you know, I heard in another interview, you said your life changed after you lost your father. And they'd be like, yeah, Howard, you know, that was a really traumatic moment for me. And Howard would be like, right, can we get your tits out? I feel like everybody would feel better if you had your tits out for this. And he would be like, oh my God, holy shit. It was just such a weird time, man. And the whack pack, oh my God. So just wildly sexist? No, because most of the women he did that with were like sex performers. They were like sex workers.
So Howard Stern and I just
he would never do that with like a
and now I want to watch episodes lol.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would never do that with like a Lady Gaga or any of like the women that weren't in the sex industry, right? Like he mostly did that when like someone came in to like promote their brand as a sex worker. So like, listen, again, Howard Stern is not a good example of like how you should behave now. And obviously his product has changed enormously since the 90s. Enormously. But, you know, I don't think Stern is in the cancelable column.
or who hosted what show, late night is past its prime simply because times have changed. I mentioned access to celebrity culture not being a draw to late night anymore, but almost every feature of late night TV has.
Yes.
Bro, watching Stern on TV at like 3 a.m. when I was like 8 changed my life. I will never forget those blurs.
True.
As thousands of
He's toned it down a little. He went to therapy when he was on Fresh Air. My brother in Christ, Howard Stern has toned down his show so, like, it's not even the same broadcast, right? Like, I'm not saying that Stern is bad now, but Stern has, like, totally changed direction where, like, now his cornerstone is incredible celebrity interviews. Howard Stern might give the best celebrity interview in the world. His like music knowledge and his ability to get very candid answers out of people like Paul McCartney is unbelievable. It's like some of the most fascinating, like I don't know what it is about Stern, but he is completely unfazed by whoever he's talking to. Right? Howard Stern could be talking to like Jesus of Nazareth and he'd be like, Jesus, do you ever get schmegma in your foreskin? Oh, wait, I forgot. You circumcised those, don't? Are you circumcised? You know, because you were a Jew. But, you know, like that, like he's just so, you know what I mean? Like he's so unfazed. He's so unfazed by his interviewees that like he gets unbelievably candid answers out of them. Now, Stern's old content was literally like, we are going to have a fucking Thunderdome for like the most insane shit ever. Look, example. Howard Stern calls King Charles a pussy and a vampire. Coronation was disgusting. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's like him and Hassan Piker would say this shit publicly, right? Only he and Hassan Piker, as like giant public figures, would be like, yeah, King Charles is a pussy and a vampire. You know what I mean? Like, he's just completely unfazed. Anyway, that's enough about Stern. I was a giant Stern fan. I will admit I am not as much of a Stern fan anymore, just because I don't ride around in my car as much as I used to. I used to ride around in my car like when I was commuting. And he was just perfect to listen to. All right.
Thousands of alternatives online or in streaming services. Do you want to watch some celebrity interviews? You could watch Hot Ones.
Vibe Check was fun.
I'm so sorry. People are telling me not to Google Lemon Party. What is that?
Don't.
Okay. So this is a piece of internet history.
Jesus Christ.
Google it.
Look at me. Nope.
You're grown and you've seen worse things on the internet.
Good.
Not right now.
Maybe
not here.
I've seen one man in a jar.
Maybe not.
No. Go nuts. Just Google it right now. But not right now.
No, there's a camera behind.
Not here and now where a camera exists.
Me just steadfast. No.
Behind you.
No.
This is the second time chat has convinced someone in this office to Google Lemon Party. The other one was Emily, and that was a bad time.
Could I do a live react of Lemon Party?
No, because there's going to be audio.
Could I mute it?
I'm going to say...
Could I go on Google Images? Is it a Google image or is it a video?
It likely is, but there's a camera behind you.
Just hide it from the camera. Like, just hide it right behind you. Just do it right there. Come on. I just want to see her reaction to it. Could Shaw tell me if this is okay?
I guess we're doing it. Okay, dude, I'm not going to lie. Exacerbated Will is so funny. Exacerbated Will is actually funny to me in a way that I can't explain.
Will, podcast question.
Yeah.
Will you do a one-on-one interview on Fair and Anytime? Also, what's your interview style?
My interview, I'm a great interviewer. I'm not going to fucking pull any punches. I would love to do more interviews. But like I don't know if you guys listen to the sex podcast, but I put in work on that motherfucker. I'm doing my best to create as much auxiliary content as possible, but that's a good idea. You're good at everything? Wrong. I cannot fucking read. I am unorganized. I am fucking loud. I overeat constantly. Sex podcast? What? You suck at League? Exactly. Bad at video games?
No one can see it. No one can see it. Can you see it?
If we get banned,
Oh, the sex playlist. My bad. Oh. Gunner. Thank you.
I just get some time off. So
I can't see it. We can. That's gonna show. How do we?
Wait. Did I just say if we get banned, I get some time off?
I just get some time off.
No one can see it. No one can see it. Can you see it?
If we get banned, I just get some time off. So
I can't see it. We can. That's gonna show. How do we?
Fiona,
Living in a
it looks like you're
Fiona Googling
inspecting
lemon
your
party
labia right now.
She's shoving chew in there. Will's laugh makes me so happy.
I've been back for one day.
Oh, shoot. That's funny. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it looks like...
I'm guessing she found it. I'm guessing she found it?
Caca. What the fuck was that? And with that, we're going to go on a commercial break really quick. Yeah, we'll be right back.
You did this to yourself. I have no sympathy.
We warned you.
You did this to yourself. I have no sympathy is such a funny line from me. God. All right, here we go. Back to this. Sorry. I'm a pausing piker.
They were on, or magazine interviews like GQ or Wired on YouTube. Do you want to see topical comedy on today's news? Everyone on Twitter has already beaten every joke to death on the topic before the day's late night episode even begins taping. Late night audiences have watched some hosts change their format and continue to keep up with them on YouTube, but there is simply too much good content out there in the world to expect most people to shut it all off and tune into an hour of network television. Conan
did Beef. Great shout out for Beef here. Beef was fucking perfect.
To an hour of network television. Conan had completely shifted his show around until finally settling on the fact that late night was no longer...
Dude, I cannot get over how many steroids this motherfucker did. Look at his goddamn jawline. I just can't get past it.
I'm ballsy. I don't take no
The big sick guy is juiced out of his
Ask
fucking
this.
skull.
How do you get used to looking at yourself on camera? I always feel like I'm looking at an alien when I look in the mirror or at pictures of myself.
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes I pretend that I'm not actually me. Sometimes I pretend I'm like one of those little aliens inside my skin suit, like that thing from Men in Black. And I'm just like piloting a mech. And that helps. I don't know, practice. Anybody who knows me can tell you that there's like a mindset I get in when I perform that's like very different. I'm very different when I perform. Frequently, I won't remember anything I say when I'm on camera or performing. I just like, listen, I know what I am. I'm neurodivergent, right? I have a brain that works a little differently. Can't get organized, can't spell, can't remember the months of the year. There are a lot of blind spots that I have. But because my brain is so stunted in those areas, in other areas, I'm very like, I'm just way beyond. And performing is like one of those things. I don't know why. It's like one of the things that I have an ego about. But anytime I'm on camera, like I get into a flow state. I'm totally out. And that's my gift, right? And I've always known that was my gift. And that's why for me, there was no plan B other than entertainment. I was like, I will be an entertainer or I'll die because this is what I'm good at. Like I have this gift, and if I don't use this gift, then I will not succeed at anything else because I can't. I can never work an office job. I can't keep, control of my email or send a message or read numbers or do math. I just have this one thing that I'm good at. So I don't know how to teach it, but it's like the one thing I've always had an ego about too, where like a big part of Donna was I wanted to prove something to people, where I honestly think that a lot of streaming is very lazy. Like, and ultimately you guys are, Twitch audiences are so cool that you allow performers to get lazy, because if I do an inside joke, you guys will go crazy. I can just say the same, like WL, whatever, wherever you are on the internet. And that gets the biggest pop, right? That's crazy to me. That like, it's almost like when people see a joke in the trailer of a film and then go see that film. And for some reason, that moment gets the biggest pop, because sometimes for some reason, people need to know that they have that permission to laugh, to enjoy, to like, to acknowledge that something is funny. So ultimately, I think a lot of streaming is pretty, phone it in. That's usually when you'll perform the best. Look at me. I have almost 6,000 people here because I'm doing reaction content. If I start doing something original or different, that number will go down. So Donna for me was this like chance where I was like, I wanted to do something so impossibly difficult that it forced people to be impressed. So when I went into pitching Donna, everybody was like, well, how many writers do you need for the show? And I was like, I don't want writers for the show. And they're like, so you are going to go in and you're going to do 2 hours of in-character improv every Thursday, and you're going to react to live call-ins that could go awfully bad. And I was like, yes. And I don't want any safety net. I don't want any cutaways. I don't want any pre-records. I want it to just be me, and I want to be able to fill 2 hours. So I did that. And ultimately, the funniest thing is I was so good at that a lot of people thought that the show was scripted or that bits were like pre-planned, which was the most frustrating thing looking back. Whenever people would be like, haha, that's so funny, he planned a call with Caroline. I was like, I didn't. She called in to try and fuck my shit up. And we just... Anyway, that's my one opportunity to fucking brag on myself. I don't do it often.
Exact same thing. It's going to get all over my shirt.
I'm a stud.
Oh, no.
I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
Motherfucking Dan Egan.
Yeah, motherfucking Dan Egan.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Cassim and I, the horny boys.
That exact same
It's going to get all over my shirt.
You do it. Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I can't. I got to drink slow.
Oh.
Rip and rip.
Push it.
You need the jet force.
Gina, I'm doing it with
Push it.
Push the back. Push the back, bitch.
The mic cracking is unbelievable.
Push the
Oh,
back.
yeah, wow.
doing
That's
it
very
with
cool.
Push
You
the
deserve
back.
to brag, King.
Push the back, bitch.
Push the butt.
Oh, yeah, wow. That's very cool.
Hey Will, do you have any advice for motivating yourself to do things
know
with
that exact
ADHD?
same.
You seem to do a million things at once and I have no idea how.
I'm
a stud. I'm ballsy.
I'll try and answer that.
I don't take no shit from anyone.
I've rewatched Donna so many times. It's
Thank
so
you.
damn good.
Thank you. It's going to come back. I promise. It's taking a little while. What up, bro? You seem like a cool guy to hang out with on some chill shit. Thank you, Hossy Games. I am a pretty cool guy to hang out with on some chill shit. I appreciate you. Motivating yourself to do shit you don't want to do. I had the benefit of being a horrible failure for a big piece of my life, where every day was like a waking nightmare and I was depressed. And ultimately, you find out that the obstacle is the way. A lot of times, if you're having trouble advancing in your life, it's the one thing that you dread the most that is holding you back. It's fucked up, but that's the way we're built. And we're built to like create a blind spot. If you really look at your life, if you really look at like what is your next step, it's usually this one thing. Like for me, it was organization and follow through. I was always like pitching ideas and I came up with all these ideas and like I had all these things and other people would do them. Other people would take my shit. And then I would wait for them to give back to me like fucking Dobby. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a good house elf. Give Dobby sock. And I never got fucking sock, right? Because everybody wants to keep you a motherfucking house elf because you're easier to deal with and they pay you less, right? That's the truth. So there I was, little good boy, trying to do all this work and waiting for my fucking sock, and I never got the fucking sock. So for me, it was just doing my own thing, just like forging ahead and making my own products. And ultimately, Twitch was very helpful in that capacity, right? Because I had no one to lean on. I couldn't pretend like me not succeeding or succeeding was someone else's fault. It was me. I was the fucking cameraman. I was doing the sound. I was the tech support. So if everything fucked up and was terrible, that's on me. And that was my obstacle, right? And that's the thing I started to learn where I was like, yeah, you got to become your own fucking sock factory. If Dobby wants to get out of being a house elf, stitch your own fucking sock, Dobby. Go buy a Fruit of the Loom pack, rip that motherfucker open and escape. And this is very true in a lot of people's lives, right? Depending on how you were probably raised to be polite, or you're probably raised to be respectful, or in a lot of situations, we were raised thinking that there is some blueprint, some structure to adult life that if you buy into, you'll be taken care of. It's wrong. It's a fucking lie. There is no like status quo in terms of like, well, if I shake this person's hand stiffly enough and I'm wearing a tie and my CV is great, I'll be safe and I'll own a house. Wrong. Fuck that shit. And I hate to sound like, break the matrix, dude, because those people fucking suck. But truthfully, like, if you're waiting for your mom and dad's world to come and swoop you out of poverty or depression or inaction, it's not going to happen, right? And we were raised to believe that it's there. We were raised to believe that if you are a good cog in this machine, you'll get some grease one day. But the truth about cogs is you work them till you break them down, and it's usually cheaper to just replace the cog than to get any grease. So don't be a fucking cog. Be your own machine. Anyway, back to this video. I can't believe this motherfucker did steroids.
Settling on the fact that late night was no longer a good format for him. He now has an extremely successful podcast where he does much more personal and in-depth interviews he couldn't do in the old format. He also has been developing what seems to be a full show for his remotes and travel remotes, which was a wildly successful new format to his show that showcased his talents much better than being forced to do a monologue in a suit in front of a live audience. It's why I don't blame Trevor Noah for leaving The Daily Show. He's young, very intelligent, and full of potential. Why waste?
And nobody was watching. I shouldn't have done that. He's a nice guy.
On a cable show on Comedy Central that people are almost exclusively watching on YouTube, especially when every other late night show has become a form of The Daily Show for the most part. And other comedians like John Oliver, Hassan Minhaj, and Z-Way have all tried to radically change the format. And as a viewer,
Didn't this show get canceled? This show was actually entertaining in its own way. I thought she had like her own lane. And I'm surprised they canceled her show so fast.
And as a viewer, all three of these shows totally work for me. But Hassan's Patriot Act and Z-Way both got canceled. I think that's probably
Eddie Burbank's got my back.
Why we saw Trevor Noah leave without...
the one thing I will say, though, is as Hassan Piker's best friend, this show, very good, but also fuck the other Hassan, right? Our SEO only has so much room. So if he's clogging up the Hassan searches, then my podcast ultimately does worse. So at the end of the day, get fucked shitter. There can only be one. 2 Hassans enter, 1 Hassan leave, and thanks for the SEO.
Anyway, both got canceled. I think that's probably why we saw Trevor Noah leave without passing the show to a successor, leaving The Daily Show to just cycle through guest hosts for now, and CBS ending The Late Late Show along with Corden ending...
Dude, Am I the only one? Am I the only one that's pissed that Samantha Bee never got a chance to host The Daily Show? Am I the only? I sound like I'm a fucking lived up piece of shit right now, but how did Samantha Bee never get a chance to host The Daily Show in all of this? She sucks? What do you mean? Why? She was great at The Daily Show. I don't think that her other stuff is particularly great, but of that original cast, she was awesome. What's up, Ness?
I think that's probably why we saw Trevor Noah leave without passing the show to a successor, leaving The Daily Show to just cycle through guest hosts for now, and CBS ending The Late Late Show along with Corden ending his run. They're actually replacing it with...
You need to be known to get that job? Who the fuck is Trevor Noah?
At Midnight from Comedy Central? I just never thought I would see At Midnight return ever again. So can shows like Late Night work? Yes, of course. But I don't think we'll ever see Late Night as an institution again, because at the time, it was one of like 3 things on TV. Year by year, the late night business makes less money and ratings go down.
Yes.
I'm thinking of quitting my soulless slow job and leaving LA to go all in on woodworking and content creation. My question to you, when you've had a momentous decision to make in life, were you certain it was right in the moment, or just trust your gut?
I think ultimately, when you trust your gut or make those decisions or take risks, what you have to trust, ultimately what you really have to believe in, is that if you take a risk, you're smart enough, resourceful enough, and hardworking enough to get yourself out of shit. Right? I think ultimately a lot of the reasons that keep us in very mediocre positions or like bad jobs are like our safety, right? We're like, oh, I need this to be safe. I need this to be okay. But ultimately, I think a lot of us are a lot more resourceful than we think. And if we get into a bad place or take a calculated risk, we'll be able to avert that damage eventually and take another swing. Anyway, he was a rising comedian. What the fuck? He was huge globally.
Cool.
Damn it.
Okay, I need a poll.
5 hours.
How many? Hey, good night. How many people had never heard of Trevor Noah before The Daily Show? I had never heard his name one time before The Daily Show. If you agree with that, throw a 1 in chat. If you had heard of him before The Daily Show, put a 2 in chat. I just want to see how that shakes out. Okay, that's a lot of 1s. I'm not crazy. Like, I don't dislike Trevor Noah at all. My point was that, like, you have to be a known comedian to take over The Daily Show. I don't agree with that, because I honestly don't think Trevor Noah was like this like global. I mean, I guess he was big globally, but like he wasn't like an S+ comedian.
And I think that has more to do with atmosphere than the hosts themselves. When I was 13, my parents...
Dude, if I don't go piss right now, I'm gonna piss my pants. Hold on. Holy. The PSI of that piss, I could have power washed a wall. That was crazy.
Got a cable package that required 2 extra cable boxes to be installed in our house. That meant that for the first time, my brother Tony and I had access to watch what we wanted later at night. Now this coincidentally was right around the time that Conan O'Brien agreed to start his show again on TBS. At the time, this was a huge deal running off the Tonight Show drama. So we tuned in to watch his premiere episode, and I cannot stress how instantly hooked we were on his show. For years, I was glued to the TV almost every single night to watch him. I love how silly he allowed himself to be, how frequently he made himself the butt of a joke to elevate his guests. Andy was always quick and hilarious.
Another great hype man. I feel like he's like second to Ed McMahon. This dude is probably one of the best hype men. Andy goes crazy.
Always quick and hilarious, and anytime Conan did a remote, I was beyond excited. And for most of my teenage years, I had 2 dreams in my life. One is that I wanted to make movies or be involved in making movies. And the other was to one day become a comedian with
Is he at Men's Warehouse?
That's what made the 2014 to 2015 transition so exciting for me. It was really cool seeing the differences in what every show's crew, writers, and hosts had to offer to the format. But much like the format, that dream has slowly faded over time, and that's okay. Times change, the world changes, and people's interests change. So who knows what the future of late night will be? Maybe it'll fizzle out and die, or maybe it'll just drop in ratings and never be as influential as it once was. But there is something that I do know for sure, and that's the fact that if you have any positive memory laughing at a late night show with yourself or friends or
Hannibal
family,
Buress, best interview sidekick. I don't know if you can compare that. Listen, I love that show a lot, but A, it's cut. B, it's like meant to be a nightmare reality. And C, there's usually like 30 seconds of him per episode. They're a great 30 seconds per episode. But I don't know if that's a real late night show as much as it is of like a parody. He does a great job, but it's very different is what I'm trying to express. Nightmare. Yeah, it's like a nightmare version of a talk show. It's apples and oranges to me.
100% impossible without the talented writers on staff at these shows.
Stud.
Now, I'm sure you've
I'm
heard...
ballsy.
Yeah.
I don't take no shit from anyone.
I know Conan wasn't featured in the segments, but the Triumph the Insult comic dog sketches are goated.
Yeah.
Star Wars release plus Wiener Circle make me laugh every time.
Triumph the Insult Dog is pretty classic.
Heard about this, but if you haven't, currently the Writers Guild of America is on strike negotiating with major studios.
Then we begin with the WGA strike. Writers say they are fighting to make screenwriting a sustainable career once again.
Writers on average now getting paid 23% less than 15 years ago when
that sucks.
Inflation.
Times are changing fast in entertainment, which is why I was overjoyed to see all of the hosts and late night shows pause their production to support the writers in this situation.
These are our writers, and I'll stick myself in there because I'm WGA too, and they're so important to our show.
I need my writers. I need them real bad. Yeah, I got no
He said as a woman wearing a disco ball showed up in the background.
show without my writers.
No one is entitled to a job in show business, but for those people who have a job in show business, they are entitled to fair compensation. They are entitled to make a living.
Because while some people who are critical of the strike online think that the Hollywood elite are striking for more money, it's not the case at all. The Hollywood elite you're thinking of are studio execs that get super, super rich off of the work of the writers. So if you are against the Hollywood elite and pro the little guy, then you should be pro this union and pro the strike. And with that being
good guy, Eddie Burback.
One more very important thing to do.
Been walking around in circles.
This will be my last year hosting the Late Late Show. Don't you dare.
This long overdue conversation. Why we're falling apart. Awake, tossing and turning. One more endless.
Blimey, Harry, me eggs are overcooked. Let's make the waiter cry.
You were talking.
What was that voice cue?
So now I thank you for making it
Do you have insights or opinions on why everybody hates Corbin? I mean, he has a long record of being an asshole. Like, there's like a bunch of well-documented instances of him being pretty shitty. Also, I think anytime you see someone as like an average Joe that has become a millionaire and like a globally recognizable face, and you feel like they don't have any talent, you're like, what the fuck? That should be me! Also British? Nah. It has, I'm going to be honest, it has very little to do with him being British. I think it has a lot to do with him being painfully mediocre and acting like he's like a, you know, fucking Whitney Houston.
Easy to leave.
All right. That was a great video. By the way, if you don't follow Eddie fucking Burback, you should. Because, you know, I just enjoyed his content and that was fun. Thank you, Eddie Burback. Someone just said head time. Oh, wicked. That is a crazy clip.
Did I hit you, did I?
Oh my god. That was actually such a sick clip. That could This should be an emote in his channel, man. That's fucking great. He's sweating. Bow, wow, bow, wow, bow. Check Discord DMs. Sure.
I'm a stud. I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
So no head?
Oh. We got a new clips compilation video on Will Neff clips. No, do you want me to show this and then send people over to our new clip channel? Why don't I do this? I'll show a little bit of it, and then I'll tell everybody to go over to watch the rest. Does that sound good? No? I'm looking at the Discord right now. No? Watch it all? Okay, we'll watch it all. And then I'll link it. By the way, I'll link... Oh, wait. No, can you link the channel right now? Just the channel, not the YouTube video link, but just the channel so they can go subscribe to it. Because we have 1,000 subscribers right now. Here, let's take a look. React cam goes here. Chat goes here. Thank you. No. All right, here we go.
You gotta wake up 5 a.m. and you can't maybe be making excuses. Why am I not where I want to be? Why do I not have the things I want to have?
No, you son of a bitch. You've already done it. You already won me over in spite of me.
Hey, Turbo, run that shit back. You gotta wake up 5 a.m. and you can't maybe be making excuses. Why am I not where I want to be? Why do I not have the things I want to have? It's because you gotta work harder. And then obligatory, it cuts to Arnold Schwarzenegger. At first, when I came to this country, I had nothing. So I started to do roofs. And then I said, I want to be a bodybuilder. And every day I would work from 5 a.m. in the morning to 3 a.m. at night. And I would lift 18,000 pounds. And I would be so tired. But I told myself I want to be a bodybuilder. And so I just kept lifting weights. 2 years later, they cast me in Conan the Barbarian. And
he goes back to the other guy and he's like,
you gotta ask yourself right now, is what I want worth having? And if it is, don't let anything in your life stop
wow,
you.
that's very cool.
If you got a parent telling you you can't do it, kill them. If you got a spouse who doesn't see your potential, poison their food. If you have a child that's taking up too much of your time to the gym, put them in their baby seat incorrectly and get into a car crash. Because nothing's gonna stop you from...
Okay, I just have to remind everybody that it's so good as an inspirational video. Holy! No, you've done it. Bit. You bastard. No, you bastard. Bit. That's a joke. Don't put your child into a car seat incorrectly. First stream of yours. Are these your normal views? I'm starting to go to the gym and I'm very impressionable. Oh, shit. Is a horseradish called a horseradish because it looks like a hoof? Am I this many years old? Dude, okay, when I found out why it's actually called a horseradish, I was shocked. It's because it looks like a horse cock. I see the hoof. I'm so drawn in by the hoof here that I don't notice the cock here. When I learned this, am I crazy? I gotta Google this.
Oh yeah, wow, that's.
I just fucking fall out.
Got it.
Oh no. Oh no. It doesn't look like a hoof. They say it looks like a horse dick. Oh no. Oh no. What just happened? I just got forcened. What the fuck? Oh God. Delete the VOD. Delete the VOD. It looks like a hoof. I swear that looks like a hoof, not a dick. It looks like a hoof. God, I'm criminally underrated. What the fuck? That looks like a hoof, not a dick. They named it horseradish because it looks like a horse cock. What the fuck was going on? That's crazy. Can we play a game? Finish your wine. We're going to pour this and we're going to tell Austin this is the next bottle. Oh. This is one of my favorite swindles because I asked Austin afterward, I was like, dude, were you just playing into it? And he's like, no, I had no idea. I was so convinced Austin was just playing into this bit, but he had no idea. Oh, that's good. Yeah. We need a little bit of coloring.
It's got to have a little.
Should I just pour that in?
Pour no, that's like this. Okay.
Yeah, it's not this. It's not.
Okay. It's fine. Yeah, in chat, don't say anything.
Okay.
All right, next bottle.
Hey, Austin. Austin, we got the next bottle.
Oh, yeah, next bottle.
All right, next flavor.
All right. Ooh, this is fruity.
Wow. That's interesting. You fucking shitter.
That's your type. That's your type. That's really good wine.
Yeah. You like that?
Yeah. That's actually really good. That's really good. It's almost like it's grape juice. Oh my god, that's divine. Wait, that's this is the best one. This got to be cheap. It's got to be cheap. Yeah. It's an entry level wine.
Why? Because you like it so much?
Yes. Great.
It's got like teeth or like claws to it.
They poured it.
I'm such a cunt. Putting stuff in like that is such a Will Neff thing to do. Like to try and get close to getting caught. You're such a cunt, Will. What a stinker. That's like Hannibal Lecter humor.
Off the vine in like 3 months.
Are you sure that's not a white wine, or is it like a?
It does look like a white wine, but it's not.
We're going.
No.
And then Kirk says a white wine. We're just being such shitters. Look at that little shit-eating grin.
Wait, it's a dessert wine. Oh. Okay. That is so good. I could drink a lot of this. Tastes like fruity
what
pebbles.
flavor? Wait, what flavors do you taste?
I say a grape.
Grape. We were all toasted by this point, by the way. Look at my mouth. It's like fucking Ron Burgundy red.
Full drink.
No, it tastes like grapes. Like blue.
What does the wine taste like?
Like blue.
Blue grape.
It's blue flavor. Okay, which one's your favorite? Is this all
Shut
your
up,
favorite?
I'm enjoying this.
Sir, do not make eye contact.
Oh, sorry. All right, look away.
Well, I could drink. I could get fucked up. I could get fucked up.
Yeah.
All right, guess.
Guess the price.
I never had wine to enjoy the
This with a cheesecake.
Ew.
I lost it. I abandoned all hope at that point. When this man said this with a cheesecake, I abandoned all hope.
What are you laughing at?
That's so gross.
This would be amazing.
No.
Oh, fuck
Yeah.
If there's one thing I've learned about alcohol is that the worse it tastes, the more expensive it is.
That's true. That's
Okay.
true.
Here we go.
So, this one,
You think this is cheap?
this one had claws in it. It was white and had a mixture of every wine. It was a white claw mixed with every single other wine.
We literally just put White Claw on it.
That
And
was
this goes
fucking,
for $1.25.
That was fucking delicious.
We might be onto something.
So you guys win.
We might be on it. We should wine with White Claw.
Wait, how did you make it look like wine?
Dude, Wine Claw actually goes crazy, by the way, if you want to try it.
We really thought about it. It took a little bit.
I was like, man, it has a little shitty wine taste, but it tastes like fruit.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Wine seltzer. That's delicious, though.
Wine seltzer goes crazy.
That is someone definitely does this for.
That needs to be needs to be a
wine.
Christmas drink.
That's
A Christmas drink? So Yule Claw?
Yes. Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
Santa Claus. That's so good.
Santa Claw.
Oh, good one, chap. That's good.
Hey, Will, I found out I'm bisexual because of you. No.
Dude, I honestly, this 3 seconds is one of the most dense 3 seconds of streaming that's ever happened. He says, I found out I'm bisexual. I'm a little drunk, so I don't know he's reading chat. All of a sudden, in my brain, my neurons are processing, one of your best friends just came out to you. And I look at him and I go, oh my God, what an impossibly strange time to come out to me. And he's like, kind of got this smile. And then I realize, oh, he's reading chat. I went through the range of emotions so fast.
Hey, Will, I found out I'm bisexual because of you. No. Somebody in chat said that. No, somebody in chat said that. I thought that was something worth celebrating.
I was so ready to be a supportive friend. I was so ready to be a supportive friend. I was so ready to be like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. I literally thought you'd use that as an opportunity to come out to me. I was like, all right, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Self-suck stream. Let's get it. Tall men, fuck them. They have it too easy. All right?
True.
Right now. Dude, he's spitting. Fuck tall men. Okay?
Spitting.
I will go on the record with that. Will, please, listen. My best friend is a tall. I think we should start calling him that. I think we should start calling him talls. I said that like a slur. Holy shit. Hey, my best friend's a tall. I can't be a bigot. My best friend's a tall.
Tall and bald here.
He's tall as hell.
Feel about myself.
I'm such a good friend with him. He lets me call him a Heidi. No, seriously, fuck tall people. Tall women. What goes through my head? A Heidi. Oh my, dude, that's like Chat GPT levels of fast. Creating a imaginary slur for tall people. That was so quick. A Heidi. And that's our word. I'm sorry. You're right. But mods, ban that in chat. We can't have people calling people Heidis in here. With tall women. Tall men, absolutely not. Straight to the grinder. They have it too easy. They're just naturally better at sports. Everybody can see them in a nightclub. They never get lost in amusement parks. It's bullshit. That's a professional athlete, chat. Chill. Oh my. Okay, so what had happened here was so you're always reading chat out of the corner of your eye. And you could see me kind of like reading that people are being a little unkind to this woman riding a tractor. And so I wanted to like dial them back a little bit, and the timing was so bad. That's a professional athlete, chat. And she's dead. The timing! I can't believe that. Lady, help me out, dude. Dude, I'm saying, I was trying to dial back chat from being toxic, and then this bitch takes a tumble, and I just see any semblance of order fall apart. Hassan just sent this to me. Bro, Aaron Rodgers, fucking quarterback with the football team, the Jets, verified on TikTok, hated on my Hassan Piker clip, and then I dunked on him. CTE is bro makes it. Hassan is a miserable human being. Real and true. Want to know what really makes people miserable? CTE for football. Yeah, CTE is pretty brutal. What's that got to do with Hassan being miserable? Loser leftist? Wow, dude. This sucks. Because now I can't be friends with Hassan anymore. You heard it first. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers, I stand with you, baby. Yep. Jets 2024, all the way to the fucking Super Bowl. Fuck you, Hassan Piker. Yep. Loser ass leftist. Yep. Aaron Rodgers. Double check. Aaron Rodgers. It was tough. Lifelong friendship. My bad. Thank you, Jay Dilla, for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. It took me a grueling 10 seconds to decide that I am no longer friends with Hassan Piker. It's over. Canceled. Goodbye. Yep. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like him. I don't like him either, guys. Cool. So this was brought up on the podcast, and I stand by this, and I'm going to tell you why. Leftist brothers and sisters. If you are really about inclusion, if you are really about diversity, you know that the Jets employ the first Muslim American head coach ever in Robert Saleh. And I think that is tragic that more Muslim Americans haven't been included in head coaching. And so a win for the New York Jets ultimately will be a win for religious freedoms. Thank you, Quantum. Thank you. A win for religious freedoms here in this country. Because ultimately, that's what Aaron Rodgers wants. He wants you to have the freedom to practice whatever religion you want. He wants you to have the freedom to deny inoculation. He's a freedom fighter. Yep. You got to make tough decisions. Thank you, Call Me Games 45. You got to do what you got to do to win a Super Bowl. Okay, we've all had to make sacrifices. I burnt my Vax card, and now I'm burning my friendship with the closest person that I'm closest with on the planet. So, Aaron Rodgers, if you see this, I stand with you, baby. New York stands with you. Yo, Aaron, I don't know if you know this, but Hassan is also a Green Bay fan, dude. Oh, yeah, He's into commie football.
Breaking news. Aaron Rodgers has come out against the self-suck community. Let's get him, boys.
Wow. There goes my other pastime. I can't self-suck anymore. That means I can't miss any more podcasts.
you to pop off and win this season, dude. They're praying that you lose in Green Bay.
This is everything I've dreamed of. Will finally gets embedded with the New York Jets. All he had to give up
was the person he cared most about.
This is how I get my sharing gun, bro. True.
This is real?
True.
Fans convinced Will Neff is joining OTK after comments from fiance.
What? Dexerto, I love you. But Dexerto has put me in so much shit by just popping off on just insane takes.
Fiance! I don't know how they got that.
Dude, Dexterito, you gotta help me out, bro. First of all, she's not my fiance. She is my girlfriend. I love her very much, and we're very good together. But like, guys, my dad scours the internet for shit about me. If my mom and dad see this from a news source, he's just gonna die. My dad's gonna die. This is true. This is true.
Like, wow, my own son kept that he was engaged from me.
This is all true.
Please, he's in his 90s, guys. Help me out.
Oh man, I would love if every restaurant did this. Some of my favorite restaurants in New York. I go in, I'm like, hey Vinny, what's this dish about?
Hey, this is a fucking cheesesteak. It's about how my whole wife left me and won't fucking call. It's about how I can't relate with my son. He's a homosexual. Now eat your fucking cheesesteak. Get the fuck out of here.
Thanks, Sal. Every dish tells a story. It's incredible. Okay, this is in relation to, we were watching a video where the guy actually went to the closest thing to the restaurant from the menu, where I think it's like $10,000 to eat there or something, and it's like 80 courses, and every fucking dish is like a story. And I was just saying how funny it would be if like some of my favorite dives in New York tried to do the same thing, and then all their stories are about like divorce court and the Jets losing.
Hey, yeah, this this chopped cheese sandwich is about the time I blew 20 racks on the Jets making the playoffs.
Golly. Funny times. Fun times. Just broke a year dry spell thanks to your music playlist. Peace Division, period. Hey, thank you. I thought the sex playlist would go crazy. I cooked on that one. If you're a Patreon member, I cooked on that playlist. I put like a few hours into that bad boy. No, that was incredible work. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start having a clip channel. No, just linked it in chat. I'm going to link it again. Please go follow it. We only have 1.1 thousand subscribers. If we could get that to 2K right now, if we could just get all of you to fucking follow this clip channel because it goes wild, that'd be super awesome. That'd be awesome. I'm refreshing. Okay,
Oh, yeah, wow,
you guys are
that's very
juicing the
cool.
shit out of it. Thank you.
Jets.
You gonna tell Caroline to bring some of the cake Emily made?
Did I do it right?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
Oh, sorry, I was reading the next instruction. Oh.
I missed this.
Okay, so then you are going to mix it
Oh.
with a mixer.
Oh, mixer.
Or it does say beat vigorously by hand, but that doesn't mean literally. But you know what? You are who you are.
Yeah, let's go.
Are who you are.
So
Okay. there is no.
Did I do it right?
There is
Oh, bleh, bleh.
No. What's this clip? You what now? I jammed my fist in his blowhole. I cut off his oxygen. That's the blueprint for dolphins. You gotta get in that fucking... That's like the same as strangling him. You know what I mean? You fucking put Vaseline on your fist and you just
Here's Johnny.
You get deep in there. Thank you, Merked. You appreciate you.
I
jam my fist in his blowhole. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you. All right. We're going to watch another video. But first, I got to pee and grab another water, grab a snack. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Stay right there. I'm so sore. I hate how sore I am. Sears 2023 football?
So, guys, this is my football tier
that's
list
for cool.
this season. I think it's looking great. So far, fantasy-wise, it's looking good.
Sears in here? I mean, it's not horrible. That's pretty bad. This in C, this in B. This in S.
That's for cool.
This and S. Sear, I think there's a future in this for you. Dan Marino goes in the top. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. That's hype. All right. You guys want me to do a football tier list real quick before we watch our video? Link a tier list. I'll try and speed run it. Then we'll watch the next video by Jacob Geller. The head transplant. I'm going to bang it out. Crime? Wait a minute.
The largest cost is people. The staff, we've been leasing this facility here. It's the shelters, food, there's a little bit of everything. We have just received another tranche of funding, bringing the federal dollars for this program since 2019 to just about $29 million. we have been we the last night we were at about 450, 500.
Damn disguise good hackermans.
Nashville hotel manager charged after allegedly sucking on sleeping guest toes. How the fuck did he think he was going to get away with this? Sir, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I think your ice machine's broken. I think your ice machine's broken. I was just checking. Wow.
Oh yeah, wow, that's for
oh, dude. If I've ever seen a toe sucking man,
cool.
There he is. This guy sucks toes. He doesn't even look sad about it. He's like, yeah, about time I got caught. You'd be shocked how many feet I sucked on. All right. I'm going to do this real quick because I haven't talked much football. I'll bang this out. Bang. Bang. Mediocre at best, but yeah. Bang. Bang. Bump. Where are the Eagles? Oh, there they are. Actually, I would probably do this even. I'll put them there because they're new quarterback. Ba, ba, ba. That's how I would rank it right there. That's how I would rank it right there. Jets way too low? Nah, their division's too tough. Listen, here's the thing. Anybody from the AFC East could win the Super Bowl, but the truth of the matter is it's such a hard division that like you could win the Super Bowl being a wild card in that division. The Jets have one of the hardest schedules in football. Ravens too high? I don't agree with that. I will answer questions on this for like 3 minutes. Titans S tier? Absolutely not. Where are the Patriots? The Patriots are in mediocre at best. The Patriots will probably have their worst season under Bill Belichick ever this upcoming year. I'm sorry, Patriots fans, but you just don't have the talent to be in that division. Every other team in that division is a fucking monster. Every other team in that division is fucking stacked. The Patriots would be lucky to win a game in division this year. I'll be honest. No Rams. The Rams suck right now. Seahawks going to win it all. I mean, I have them in playoff team. That's pretty high praise. Chargers are trash? No, they're not. Chargers are not trash. Every game that they've lost for like the last 2 seasons has been by 1 possession. Steelers are better? No, they're not. Kenny Pickett's not the guy, unfortunately. Pickens is a really good wide receiver, though. I will say that. Eagles will win it all? Maybe. I mean, I have them as Super Bowl favorites.
Neff Gawd.
That's as high as you can rank them. Why did you drop the Bengals down? Because I only wanted to put 2 teams in Super Bowl favorites. And Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and the Eagles had the best draft. Period. If those Eagles pan out to be 75% of the players they're supposed to be, they're in the driver's seat. I see the Jets doing shit and losing Rodgers for the season. I mean, ultimately, like, I'll be honest.
I think this looks pretty agreeable.
I don't think that's a terrible take. Ultimately, I think the Jets, if they stay healthy, make the playoffs. I do. But it's going to be a problem because Aaron Rodgers isn't as mobile as he used to be. And if he gets hit and they lose Aaron Rodgers, they're fucked, right? Like, that's their season. It's over. So keep Aaron Rodgers healthy, and you probably got a playoff team. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, it's all over. However, you do hang on to your first-round draft pick if Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. And then next season, they could be absolutely fucking wild if they go all in and they trade Aaron Rodgers and they trade all of their draft assets to move up to try and get one of the lottery young quarterbacks. But that's way down the line. Caleb Williams to the Jets? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Why is Chicago always feels... Chicago's just got a long way to go. Cowboys could be a little bit higher. They could also be a little bit lower, to be honest with you. They could also be a little bit lower. Ravens so low? No, they are not so low. They are not so low. I know everybody thinks that the Ravens solved every one of their problems by drafting a rookie slot receiver and picking up OBJ, but they did not. They have a very competitive team, but they're not like giga stacked like these teams. All right, one more minute, like 2 more questions, then I'm done with this section. The math doesn't make sense. You have no teams from the NFC South making the playoffs. Ultimately, that's kind of the point, though. Like, this is a tier list. This isn't like who makes it through. Yes, someone from the AFC South will make it through, and they will get fucking mollywopped when they make it through. If you want me to be honest about who I think will make it through from the AFC South, if I honestly had to pick a team right now from that division, it's the Jags, and I have them in a wild card spot because I think they'll get beat after they make the playoffs. But if you want me to do this, I'll do this. If you want me to bump that, I'll bump that. NFC, all those teams suck too. The South is just terrible right now. The NFC South. I mean, if you want me to be real about that too, like, God, they suck so much. I'll be real. If you really want me to guess, it's that. Which is crazy to admit. That is crazy to admit. That is crazy. Someone said Falcons, who's throwing the ball? Who's throwing the ball? This team sucks. Here, who's throwing the ball? The Saints, I don't have any faith in, especially now that they lost their coach. I honestly, if I had to put down money today, it'd be on the Panthers. Honestly, if I had to place a bet, it'd be the Panthers to win that division. Which is crazy. Which is absolutely fucking crazy to say. The South is so bad. If your team is playing out of division, playing a team in the South, chalk it up as a win. They are horrible. It might be the worst a region of football has ever been. Like it's real bad. It's crazy. What about the Raiders? Nah. I don't think they have it. I think they'll do well. They might make a wild card spot. Anyway, that's it. We're watching the head transplants video now. We're doing reaction content.
Oh yeah, wow. That's
Content
very
warning
cool.
and spoiler
Go
warning.
Birds.
Content warning and spoiler warning. Sponsor warning. Sponsor warning. Sponsor warning. Sponsor. I want you
So this video is about head transplants, and apparently it's fucking incredible. So I'm all in.
to put yourself in someone else's head.
We're going to watch this, and then I think I'm going to play a horror game called Fear and Hunger, which Eyepatch Wolf says is like the best game in the world. And I've seen it over and over and over again. And why? Because its name is Fear and. So I've seen this game
That's very cool.
for like years because of Fear and never like thought to play it.
Love this place.
And then Eyepatch Wolf came out and said like, oh, it's like the best game ever made. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. But apparently it's brutal and terrifying. And we're going to watch a head transplant video to like get in the mood.
For a moment. Pretend as best you can that you've never heard of an organ transplant. Your body's organs are yours forever and unchangeably. This was the case for...
It has a lot of nudity. Isn't that fine? You're allowed to play video games with nudity, aren't you?
70 years ago. And then, suddenly, a crop of medical doctors and scientists propose that can change. They say, hey, there are conditions that we've previously treated as inevitable, and they can be cured. But what we're going to do is replace one of your kidneys with someone else's. And that's not all. Your body will know that the new kidney isn't the same.
I'm so excited for this.
It will try and reject it constantly. Your body will fight against the new thing that's inside you, and you will have to continuously medicate to keep your body's own defense.
Is it on Steam? Yeah, apparently it's on Steam.
But we think this could save, or at least extend, your life. If you're the person whose life might be saved, you'd probably be pretty game for this. Weird and experimental science becomes more attractive if the alternative is death. But if you don't have a
Whoa! Feasts 4C, thank you for the 5 gifted. You guys are juicing me up tonight. That's hot.
If you're an average person who reads about this in the newspaper, or a researcher who knows doctors have only practiced this procedure on corpses, your reaction may not be so positive. It seems like a violation of bodily autonomy, doesn't it? A person's own immune system tries to fight off the foreign organ. Isn't that a sign we shouldn't do it? Let's take that one step further. A person can consciously choose to donate a kidney. They get to keep living afterwards. How about a heart? Let's say that you can only continue living by replacing the core of your body, and that replacement comes at the cost of someone else's life. A still beating heart taken from one chest, plugged into another, the donor never able to meet the person whose life they saved.
That is
Does that
crazy.
not seem selfish, vicious, unnatural? Truthfully, I don't think any of us can really put ourselves in this headspace. In the 21st century, we're too familiar.
God damn, I smell Kevin Bacon. 5. Thank you. That's a lot of juice. I appreciate you.
With the science of transplants and too ingrained with the notion that the brain is the self. A kidney replacement, even a heart replacement, doesn't replace us. And as such, these things aren't as conceptually terrifying as they once were. But how far will our tolerance for replacements go? An entire body? A soul? Our conception of our brain as ourselves didn't just happen naturally over time. In fact, it can be directly linked to the development of new medical technology. Since 1968, the medical consensus has been that brain death is death, no matter the functioning of the rest of the body. This decision, spelled out by a committee from Harvard in a paper called A Definition of Irreversible Coma, was because of our newfound ability to keep a body functioning even while the brain did not. With this new technology came new ethical quandaries, many driven by heart transplants. A year before Harvard's report in 1967, a surgeon in South Africa took the still beating heart from a woman with no brain activity and placed it in the chest of a man dying from heart disease. This was unprecedented. Did the surgeon kill that woman? If a heart still beat, wasn't a doctor bound to keep the person alive? As the medical community decided, no. Thanks to the recentering of the self in the brain, we decided that a heart could still
Thank you for the 4 months.
of a person who no longer lived, and as such, that heart could be taken out and given to someone who could better use it. If this sounds familiar, you might be remembering my video on headshots, which stems from the same history. So, with all that said, one more question, one more thought experiment. You don't even have to place yourself in a different time for this one. Say your body's systems are failing. Infection, cancer, all of it. It's not just in a kidney or liver or even heart. It's everywhere. The doctor comes to you and says, your body is over. It's done. Kaput. But lucky for you, we've just received a patient who's brain dead but otherwise functioning normally. We're prepared to give you their body, their whole body. We just need to take your head off first.
Oh my God, dude!
It may shock you to learn that this proposition is not nearly as theoretical as it sounds, though still very unlikely to be offered by your doctor. And actually,
I want to take his face.
Actually, for just as long as we've been
Thank you, Joe Moore 81.
And 3 thanks for being here, Will. There's been a
You're a real
parallel,
one. Peace,
if
Doug.
less
Purple
mainstream
heart.
effort to find out if surgeons could swap out your head. It's actually kind of been done already. Kinda. On monkeys. So the preeminent scholar, scientist, and practitioner of head transplants was a man named Robert White, born in 1926 in Minnesota. In high school, White reportedly dissected a frog so cleanly that the membranes of its brain were still intact. The teacher remarked that he should be a brain surgeon, and White took that as a mission. This is a good time to mention 2 things. 1, virtually all the history on White and transplants in general is coming from this book, Mr. Humble and Dr. Butcher by Brandy Scalace. It's a
Dr. Butcher?
Great read, and I highly recommend it. I also recommend Eclipsed, the podcast where I first heard about this story. 2, we are going to get into some really gnarly descriptions of animal medical testing here, and while I'm not going to
Trigger warning.
Show any actual pictures of it. It is totally understandable if you're squeamish about the topic. This is, no joke, extremely grisly and involves the death of several monkey test subjects. I'll let you know when it's going to start, and there'll be a timestamp where you can skip to. So, after medical school, Dr. White lived sort of a double existence. A talented neurosurgeon who performed thousands of life-saving operations, and the head of a lab that was devoted to one thing: the isolation and eventual transplantation of the brain.
Oh my God.
White had the funding to do this in part because of a strange symptom of the Cold War. Not only was the US racing the Soviet Union to space, it was scared of falling behind in any respect. When news broke that the Soviets had a doctor performing seemingly impossible operations on dogs, the states rushed to fund their own cutting-edge medical research. Dr. White was in the right place at the right time.
He's cooking blue meth.
At a specially funded brain research lab at the Cleveland Metropolitan General Hospital, White gathered a team of people to investigate the fundamental processes of the brain and ultimately how they could be sustained without a body. You may have seen isolated lungs breathing or a heart pumping, but keeping a brain alive outside its natural skull ecosystem is a significantly more challenging task. The brain requires blood circulation, but the brain is also what tells the blood to circulate. Building a machine to do that circulation, to manage the little intricacies of heating and cooling and flow, was beyond the capabilities of the brain research lab. But what White realized was he didn't have to build a machine to do this. The body already is a machine, and if you're taking away one, maybe you could just replace it with another.
Oh my God.
Head transplantation wasn't on the table quite yet. The first major procedures White and his team were
So no head. I had to do it.
Going for was simply isolating a brain while keeping it alive. This is getting a little conceptual, and I want you to be able to envision how this works, but I also don't want to show you it because, good Lord. This is also the part for you to skip if you'd like to. For the rest of you,
this is a trigger warning.
We're going to try this.
Oh God.
Okay, so the first thing you have to do is get two rhesus monkeys, and you sit them down in little chairs next to each other and fully anesthetize them. This is a broken cat toy, by the way. One monkey is essentially just a blood bank. He's going to walk away basically fine. The other one is not going to fare quite so well.
Oh God.
So you connect the monkeys via a tube, essentially letting both of them share the circulation of the donor. Then you start taking apart the subject.
Oh
Start
my.
around the jaw and work down, separating flesh and neck muscles, removing its eyes, nose, other face parts. At this point, it's a living skull on top of a body. Then you remove that body, carefully cutting through the spinal cord, ensuring that blood from the donor monkey continues flowing to the subject's brain, the only part of the body preserved.
No, dude, why does he have the monkey parts in the background, dude? Why does he have the monkey parts stacked up in the background, dude? Come on.
Hours later, all of the rest of the subject is just lifeless organic matter, but this, the brain, is isolated and alive and full of just as much electrical activity as the day before. At this point, you may ask, why? Why did we take two previously happy monkeys, a team full of medical experts, 8 solid hours, and do this? What does it tell us? And the answers are a little hard to pin down. There were definite findings. For instance,
The answers are nebulous at best.
what areas of the brain maintained activity and what areas didn't when totally disconnected from external stimuli. But the more important discoveries were in the process. A monkey brain could survive without its own body as a support system. White and his team had developed a series of steps that, done correctly, could take a mind, a self, and hold it in almost stasis. And if you could hold it in stasis, attached to another body like a blood bag, why not close that loop? Which brings us to experiment part 2. Okay, so we start the same as before, 2 anesthetized monkeys. This time, however, we're going to keep the head of the subject intact.
Oh my God.
We're going for separation here. Everything except the neurovascular bundles is severed, and so you have a head still attached to its own systems, but separate from the actual body. You do this twice. And then you very carefully weave together Monkey A's head onto Monkey B's body, gradually letting body A and head B die. Eventually, head A and body B are one system, stitched together, and then you just have to wait and hope the combination monkey wakes up. This is what White and his team did. After 18 hours
Combination monkey
of surgery, they simply had to sit back and wait. They knew that the monkey head
This is so nightmarish.
still held electrical activity, but it didn't feel real until finally it opened its eyes. Most things it couldn't do. It couldn't move its body, its spinal cord had been severed in the operation. It couldn't make noise because its voice box was gone as well. But it followed movement with its eyes. It blinked. It bit a pencil near its mouth and ate ice. By all accounts, it was extremely pissed off, but it lived for 9 full days before the body rejected the head as it might reject a kidney. You might contest the idea that this was a successful head transplant, given that it resulted in paralysis and ultimately a fairly rapid death, but it was an undeniably huge step for the brain research lab. Because here's the thing, White was not interested in simply discovering new details of simian brain activity. He wanted to save lives. That was his main thing, his driving motivation.
Dude, okay, chat. What if they could do this, but you get put in a robot body? I would do it. I would fucking do it.
The reason he did everything. He was a brain surgeon because it saved lives, and he did
just be Atom Smasher.
Grisly experimental procedures on monkeys because he believed that would save lives too. One day, he was sure there'd be a head, a human head, that could survive while the body couldn't. And on that day, his monkey dismemberments would show their true value. But, much like the advent of heart transplants, the potential of that procedure raised questions we weren't, and still aren't, quite prepared to answer. White's earlier experiments contained a clever bit of foreshadowing in Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Long before BJ Blazkowicz gets his head chopped off by a Nazi commander, we're introduced to Shoshana, a squirrel monkey with a cat's head. Shoshana is the result of an experiment by eccentric genius Set Roth, and an indication that decapitation isn't.
I've never played the new Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein's universe.
Kind of want to play
Shoshana, the cat monkey, simply has a sort of collar that allows the foreign head and body to
It's
cooperate.
bad?
And her existence makes it just a hair less shocking when BJ's allies catch his head, plug it into an external blood supply, and eventually attach it to an entire new body. It is almost certainly the game's wackiest plot beat. BJ's execution is an incredibly bleak scene, what feels like ultimate failure at the hands of an unbeatable enemy.
Yeah, wow, that's very
Even
cool.
prior to this,
They're all
BJ's
great.
existence has been a struggle, not just because of his identity, but because his physical body.
Hashtag ad. No, so I know that to a lot of us, like you have the visceral reaction when he starts talking about a property in depth, or in depth. But he literally is just a fan of a lot of like films and games, and he adds them to his essays.
Decline. The only reason he's been able to stay upright so far is because of a set of Jewish power armor. It's a long story. And so when he's captured and sentenced to death, he's also stripped of this fairly poignant support system, broken by the Reich and summarily executed. And then, whoa, don't drop the head. Make sure you catch it. Put it in a jar. Wow, you have stilt legs now. The story fluctuates between very serious and very silly constantly, and I don't consider that a weakness. It's actually kind of a miracle it works so well. But what's most bizarre about BJ's head transplant isn't just that it happens, it's what he's transplanted onto. and how little anyone seems to care. Because see, BJ's new body isn't just a simple headless torso, it's specifically a latest generation biologically engineered super soldier body from a Nazi scientific lab. It's a Nazi body. BJ Blazkowicz is an American Jewish soldier who's been fighting Nazis for basically his entire life, and without concerns from seemingly anyone, they slap his head on a Nazi super soldier body.
God,
I've struggled with this plot beat for a while. It's not that I think it's definitively morally or ethically wrong, but it just strikes me as very odd that no one seems to have any reservations about this at all. There are multiple scenes of characters admiring how well sculpted, how muscular the body is, without really acknowledging that BJ is now a Jewish head on a Nazi body. But as I've thought about it more, I realized the game actually preempted this psychophysical conflict by working it into the story years before. So, Wolfenstein: The New Order, the predecessor to New Colossus, has one of my favorite game characters of all time, a resistance fighter named Tekla. Tekla doesn't play a big part in the actual plot of the game. She's largely a mathematician and scientist who stays back at home base. But in the middle of the game, she has this midnight conversation with BJ, where she asks how we can possibly know if our consciousness is consistent.
Wow, thank you for the 54 months. I appreciate you, Tanya.
Life be broken if it's separated by sleep or being knocked out? Hold on to this conversation, we're coming back to it. And BJ responds, what about the soul? Tekla, whose world is built of quantifiables, is infuriated by this response.
Any update on the merch? I give one every day, but I haven't heard shit from them. Last I heard, it was in the United States, but it hasn't been shipped yet.
The soul, simply a pointless concept dreamt up by priests and fairy tale men.
She hisses and storms off. BJ only has a few lines in this scene, but his interjection, what about the soul, clarifies his laissez-faire attitude towards body swaps in the coming game. Really, Blazkowicz has already been separated from his body. He spent 14 years near comatose, barely registering the world around him. When he woke from his coma, he woke in—
Sorry it's been such a shit show. No, I'm sorry to you guys.
A foreign body.
I'm gonna grab water while this plays. I'll be right back.
Rationalizing the continuity of his existence is really only possible with the existence of the soul, something ineffable within him, something consistent when everything else changes, and therefore his soul is what matters, not the vessel it finds itself in. Whether it's a suit of power armor or a Nazi super soldier body, BJ's sense of soul is how he finds self-definition, and since his head was the only part that survived that transplant, the soul must reside in the brain, Dr. White explained to the Pope. A deeply Catholic man, Robert White saw his experimentation with brain isolation and head transplantation as leading towards a secondary, more metaphysical goal. Yes, he believed his surgeries would save lives. But, as he told Pope Paul VI on a trip to the Vatican, his experimentation on monkeys had confirmed to him that the soul lay in the brain. He didn't actually think that monkeys had souls, consistent with Catholic teachings of the time, but if a monkey brain could still demonstrate life, still measurably think when removed from the body, then a human brain, and thus a human soul, must be able to as well. The Pope was unconvinced, or at least unwilling to make any sort of proclamation about it. For White, the Pope's indecision put the onus squarely back on his own shoulders. Bound up in the science of head transplants was the ethics of soul transplants. It was an ethical conundrum that White was sure he could solve if only able to perform his surgery on a human patient. If he could successfully save someone's life by attaching their head to a different body, his work and spiritual beliefs would be validated. Less convinced of this fact were animal rights organizations, which emerged in the U.S. around the time of White's brain research lab. They called White Dr. Butcher, a nickname not much more damning than White's own literary hero. Dr. Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus by Mary Shelley, is far less focused on the actual science of its science fiction premise than movie adaptations would have you believe.
Poison gifted a tier 1 sub to a PETA 1E. They have given 3 gift subs in the channel.
Grave robbings and body parts. The original book refuses such lurid details. As most of it is narrated by Victor Frankenstein himself in the future, who is deeply regretful for what he's done, the book refuses to tell us virtually any details of his process for restoring life to the dead. Seriously, it gives us like nothing. Here's what the book says about his life-giving process that he discovers. But this discovery was so great and overwhelming that all the steps by which I had been progressively led to it were obliterated, and I beheld only the result. I see by
Have you seen The Physician? No.
the wonder and hope which your eyes express, my friend, that you expect to be informed of the secret with which I am acquainted. That cannot be. Dr. Frankenstein, having found a way to resurrect the dead, is so horrified by the results that he basically excises all the good stuff until Hollywood adds it back. This includes everything about accidentally picking an abnormal brain. That's all movie stuff. None of that is in the novel.
Abby someone. Abby who? Abby normal.
What the novel does provide is a fascinating contrast between the pre- and post-experiment perspectives of Victor Frankenstein.
Thank you, Cheek Hunter 70.
Because it doesn't start with him as an
Keep it
accomplished
up.
scientist. It starts with him as a student, attending university and constantly frustrated with the limited imagination of his professors. Before school, Victor's academic inspirations were basically alchemists, men who sought to turn lead to gold or drink elixirs that would give them eternal life. Yes, none of them achieved their actual goals, but their
Block me, bitch. Fuck your PG-13 BS. Brother, have you ever watched my stream?
discover seemed to far surpass the limited scope of his modern day teachers.
I am subbed? No. No, you're not.
I had a contempt for the uses of modern natural philosophy. It was very different when the masters of the science sought immortality and power. Such views, although futile, were grand. But now the scene has changed. The ambition of the Inquirer seemed to limit itself to the annihilation of those visions on which my interest in science was chief.
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I was required.
Thank you, Van City 99. Hey, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, were you mad because you thought I was timing you out? That's so fun. No, that's automatic. Shut the fuck up. Dude, I love me some Pink Guy.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking cunt.
Great Pink Guy. Dude, Joji at Coachella last year was like one of my favorite moments.
Boundless grandeur for realities of
Mr. Mag Live, thank you.
I'm glad for the
and
reminder.
So, Victor refuses the limited visions of his contemporaries and returns to the godlike ambitions of the fabled alchemists, and uniquely, he succeeds, becomes the modern Prometheus, brings a seemingly divine power down to earth. He must wonder, on the other side of his discovery, if his alchemist role models would have regretted their success as quickly as he did. It's a warning that accomplishing things no one thought possible comes along with the responsibility for problems no one yet has the answers to.
That's deep.
Because, of course, the novel is not a victorious one. Dr. Frankenstein puts a bunch of body parts together and brings the amalgamation to life, and things don't go well and everyone is immediately miserable. Dr. Frankenstein is miserable and hates his creation. The much more sympathetic monster is miserable because everyone hates him. All the people who have to hang out with either of them are miserable because they are not good party guests. And because Dr. Frankenstein is so horrified over what he's done, he never really attempts to use his scientific powers for good. Maybe it's for the best. But unlike the monster, who never asked to live and certainly didn't ask to be spurned by his maker, what if he had found a volunteer? Someone who wanted to undergo a radical treatment. Someone who didn't mind the very high potential of death. Craig Vidovitz was a former race car driver who was paralyzed from the neck down after a botched dive into a pool. Vidovitz eventually wrestled back control of his shoulders, was able to write, move his wheelchair, and generally live a very full life. When Vidovitz's kidneys failed and he realized that recipients of kidney donation were determined by physical ability, essentially disqualifying him from ever receiving one, he sought more radical treatment. And Dr. White was ready to help. They would perform the surgery in essentially the same way they did on the monkeys, using a brain-dead patient as the body that Vidovitz's head would be swapped to. Vidovitz would remain paralyzed. There was no way around the severing of his spinal cord, and there was a high likelihood of fatal error in the surgery, but he was committed to the cause. Everyone's gotta die sometime, Vidovitz said. White even
That is a Giga Chad.
An article in Scientific American promising the inevitability of the surgery. How well will we as a society accept the concept that human brain transplantation involves transplanting the mind and spirit? Are we willing to acknowledge that the human brain is the physical repository of the soul, something this operation implies? These are the questions facing us as we go in reality where Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley went only in fiction. But it wasn't to be. The final pieces of the head transplant never came together, and White retired in 2000, the most concrete validation of his theories still coming from monkeys. He died in 2010.
Damn.
Craig Vidovitz, even with his own body, actually outlived him, passing away in 2017. Today, White's most concrete contributions to the medical field seem only tangentially related to head transplants. Perfusion cooling, his system for maintaining brain activity via lowering its temperature, is still used today in medical procedures on stroke and head trauma victims, spinal cord injuries, and more. To this point,
does Will ever do gaming on stream? Late night.
On living humans has never been attempted. But
wait, I thought they did a head transplant. Am I crazy?
Every so often, a story of potential head transplant progress makes headlines again, like mice who were able to walk after a head
face transplant.
Thanks to a liquid polymer called polyethylene glycol, or PEG. In 2017, surgeons working on 2 human cadavers announced they both transplanted a head and successfully fused the spinal cord of the 2 subjects. The idea remains on the horizon that one day doctors may be able to use a sort of glue to repair everything electronic and organic using something it calls structure gel. In the 2015 game Soma, the base's AI is
I hear Soma's so good.
Structure gel to keep all the humans alive, though the question of what live consists of grows increasingly unstable as the story progresses. Soma actually takes place in our modern day. Well, for the first 15 minutes or so. You play as a man named Simon, who, after suffering a traumatic brain injury, goes in for a cutting-edge new medical procedure. As the doctor explains, this procedure is going to take all the guesswork out of diagnosis and treatment. Before treating Simon directly, they're first going to take a perfect digital scan of his brain, test out a bunch of virtual treatments, and determine virtually which one would work best. This virtual scan of his brain would be such a perfect copy that if they found something that worked on the scan, it would almost certainly work on the human man as well. But the second Simon's brain is scanned, he opens his eyes and he's somewhere else, 100 years in the future. Because in 2015...
Wait, did I play this game?
Simon's brain scan didn't just preserve information for his medical diagnosis.
I did? Why did I stop playing it?
It preserved everything, his instincts and memories and emotions, right up to the moment he was scanned. And although the human Simon in 2015 eventually died, the scan...
Oh, Farley. Oh. Oh. Oh my God. Farley. That is stinky. That is stinky poopies. Oh my God.
Itself was preserved. Moreover, the scan was included on future computer operating systems like a backup BIOS or a default wallpaper. So when Simon wakes up 100 years in the future, it's because something has decided to simply turn his consciousness back on, like he's a monkey recovering from anesthesia, allowed to realize it's no longer attached to its own body. Because, let's be clear, Simon is...
I'm gonna let him out. You have to poop. Sorry for the delay. He had to use the potty.
No longer in his own body. Simon is a consciousness that's been woken up in a diving suit, and he's not alone in there. Simon realizes that someone else, another human, died in that diving suit, and then later, for reasons unbeknownst to him, his brain scan was shoved into that human's lifeless, but still functioning body. Can we... Look, a while ago, I talked about BJ's conversation with Tekla and Wolfenstein, and I mostly focused on his contribution, what about the soul? But at this point, I need to play you her side because it's the crux of Soma and kind of the crux of the whole thing, and honestly, it's just something I haven't been able to stop thinking about for years, so it's a little long, but it's worth it.
Jesus Christ, Tekla! Why aren't you asleep?
I try not to sleep. No telling if I'll ever wake up. Let me ask you something. He will not understand. Where do you go when you lose consciousness? Why even bother?
What?
Surprise, surprise. You have a brain. The brain is a biological computational device running an electrochemical process. Your consciousness is an emergent property of said process. Blank face like that of a baby. You are your electrochemical process. Fundamentally, you have the experience of a continuous existence. You are you at this point in time, the same you as you were in the past, and you have a sensation of riding along this continuum of being you into the future. Do you follow me? Doesn't look like it. Continuing. On occasion, the brain may be subjected to trauma, temporarily discontinuing the electrochemical process, such as a boxer being knocked out. As this occurs, the brain is no longer running its electrochemical consciousness generating process. Hence, consciousness is lost. You lose consciousness. Pay attention now. At this point in time, your consciousness, all that is you, your continuum of being you, has ceased to exist in the physical world. Now, moments later, the electrochemical process may start up again, allowing consciousness to emerge out of the information stored in the brain. But I wonder, where are you in the meantime? No, it's too stupid. Must we not assume that at the point when consciousness is lost, the person dies? If a new consciousness appears or not in the same brain is entirely inconsequential to the dead consciousness. The new consciousness is simply a new person. Because it emerges from the same brain, it has access to all the memories and cognitive structures as the dead consciousness, so it thinks it is the same person, but in actuality, it is just an imposter.